raspali odroni života, sa margine pozdravljaju, sprema se Golgota. Pederi i kurve, svakim danom nas je više. Pederi i kurve, ide tuga posle kiše. Kad buba švabe utihnu i ceo svemir crkne, pravimo republiku. Pederi i kurve, samo lake žene, u mir raznose mišljenje, samo femice, šalter za klistiranje. Pederi i kurve, nova mlada mafija, kad preuzmemo grad, prvo rušit će se Slavija. Kurve i pederčine, žive među vama, serviraju vam pičku za ručak i gitana. Pederi i kurve, nova mlada mafija, kad preuzmemo grad, prvo rušit će se Slavija. Kurve i pederčine, žive među vama, serviraju vam pičku za ručak i gitana. Pederi i kurve i odvratna komunjara, sjebali smo pošten sveto, majka više ne rađa. Nemoj da nam prilaziš, skloni svoju decu. Kako ćeš da objasniš singl srećnu ženu? Sifilis kurvetina, srećno živi sama, neće sinu tvom da bude druga mama. Kako ćeš da objasniš svojoj deci anal? Kako ćeš da objasniš gde je treći kanal? Pederi i kurve, nova mlada mafija, kad preuzmemo grad, prvo rušit će se Slavija. Kurve i pederčine, žive među vama, serviraju vam pičku za ručak i gitana. Pederi i kurve, nova mlada mafija, kad preuzmemo grad, prvo rušit će se Slavija. Kurve i pederčine, žive među vama, serviraju vam pičku za ručak i gitana. Ne možeš nam pobeći, ne možeš nam pobeći, mi živimo u vama. Gorimo dve struje, sa gore ćemo gamat. Ne možeš nam pobeći, mi živimo u vama. Gorimo dve struje, sa gore ćemo gamat. Gamat, gamat, gamat,
Hello, early heads, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you, Pingley. Thank you so much.
Da li nas se plašiš, da znaš da i treba? Nismo naši. Da li nas se plašiš? Da li nas se plašiš, da znaš da i treba? Nismo naši, treba da se plašiš. Da li nas se plašiš, da znaš da i treba? Nismo naši, treba da se plašiš.
Nismo naši i treba da se plašiš. Moving to another Balkan classic by Sam Saisi MC. We'll be starting in a couple of minutes. In the meanwhile, enjoy this beautiful Balkan queen.
Okupaj me u Mississippi reci, zar oni duboko da zaboravim ko su mi preci, i da se rodim neka nova ja. Opere što nisu mogli Dunav i Sava. Iz močvare te zovem, odvedi me do oboda reke prezore. Dok je gusta noć, ne sme ništa da se vidi, ne sme niko da nas vidi. Hladna voda skide prvi sloj, nespokoj. Iz močvare te zovem, dovezi čist terenac. Spremila sam lance, kači se za prvi sloj. Nespokoj, nespokoj, nespokoj.
What is up, chat? What is up, chat? Look at what my girlfriend's parents bought me for my birthday. I don't think you understand how large this is, okay? This is a normal Grey Goose bottle. 1 second, okay? This is a normal 1 liter Grey Goose bottle. You versus the guy she tells you not to worry about. Shit is fucking big, bro. No, it's 1 liter, not 0.7. It's 1 liter. This one is 1 liter. This one is 3 liters. I'm barely holding it up, bro. I've only drank from these in clubs or whatever. I've never actually thought that you can sell them to civilians. What a great birthday gift. What a great birthday gift. Oh. One moment, I'll be right there. Shit is wacky as fuck. Wacky, cartoonishly large water bottle. No, I mean vodka bottle. Thank you, McGin, very much. And earlier, Ping Vingley for the subscriptions. Thank you, brothers, sisters, and NBs. Another year has passed for your dear Hugo, and he is closer and closer to metamorphizing into a true unk. I posted on Twitter. Wait, let me post this shit. Something went. Whoops, you already said. Oh, no, okay, it came out. I just super semi-ironically wrote, I can't believe I turned 52 today. And a lot of people were like, holy fucking shit. You're actually 52. Why the fuck did any of you actually believe that I'm 52? It's embarrassing. Okay? Thank you to all the warm wishes. I love every single one of you. Thank you for enriching my life by choosing, for some goddamn reason, to spend your hard-earned free time with me. So to you, to your health, to your loved ones, and to another year filled with true joy. You guys are the closest to what gives my life meaning. So here's to you, because every day spent with you is truly a gift. Cheers. Even though this is coffee. Yesterday, I'm hangover a little bit. But yesterday we didn't like party. Yesterday I spent the day with my fiance. We were fucking chill, relaxed, and so on. Went to some restaurants. We went to a bar. I drank with this Macedonian dude and these Croatians. It was a dandy fine time. What is coming, though, is Friday and Saturday, where I've rented 2 whole houses, okay, with like a pool in between, where I'm getting 25 of my closest friends, and for 2 days, well, what happens in those houses will fucking stay in those houses. Birthdays are important, and it's nice to memorize them with big events or whatever. That's why there's not a lot of streams this week. I had some family issues last week. That's why I had to cut the stream short. This week, also a little bit less because Friday and Saturday, I'm going to have to be there. Tomorrow, there's going to be some logistics that I need to take care of. But then next week, I will stream every single day in order to make up for it. Thank you very much, Comrade Crip and Jeb Tush and McGin, all fucking OGs here, all child soldiers from the first day, baby. Thank you very much for your subscriptions, at which today, I guess, all subscriptions are basically birthday gifts to me, myself, and I. You all know Hugo is 28. You are very close. I am either 25, 30, or 35. I will never tell you. But yeah, genuinely, cheers, guys. Love you. And today, I got a gift that keeps on giving. Do you remember, like, impossible to pre-watch because it just came out. Do you remember or do you know Spooky Scary Socialist? I fucking do. Big fan of Spooky Scary Socialist's work because he's spooky, scary, and a socialist, okay? This is the creator behind one of the all-time classics, debunking every anti-communist argument ever that put so many right-wing panties in a twist. Spooky Scary Socialist reached out to me a couple of weeks ago or months ago, I don't remember, to like do one of those like readouts of a part of the script. And today, literally like an hour before the stream, Spooky Scary Socialist pings me and tells me, yo, this video is out. So, ladies and gentlemen, NB's premiere watch of a terribly underrated channel, but a premiere watch of their newest creation, debunking every Zionist argument ever. I'm sure this is going to be a fucking banger, a great post-birthday stream, and a great conversation starter in general. So that's what I got planned for today. Other than that, we got some news with what's happening over in DC. We've got more conversations about the Epstein list reveal or lack thereof. And we got some new interesting theory videos that came out by a few, quote unquote centrist content creators that I thought would be very informative to go through together. Does that sound like a plan? Does that sound like a good old motherfucking time? It does to me. Okay. By the way, I really fucked up yesterday. Like, we came back home very early, like at around 1, but I was really buzzed. And right now, next to my elevator door in my building, you know how you have an elevator door and next to it is concrete? It says, I don't know who wrote it there. I completely forgot about it. I mean, can I even say this, TOS? It said, like, with, what do you call it? With the key, somebody wrote kill and then a particular ideology, right? I'm the only foreigner in this building, like the only guy that's like an immigrant. So I think they'll guess that it was me because I wrote it in English, right? So I might need to remove it, not because I, don't believe in my shit, but because everybody will realize that I am destroying public building property, right? But I completely forgot about it, drunken stupor bullshit, and I wake up this morning. And whoa, holy shit, don't fucking attack me, chair. Damn, bro. And I wake up this morning and I'm going to grab the elevator. It's just like this big, like right next to it. Kill, and then I can't say it because TOS, but I'm pretty sure you're guessing what. But if they see you removing it, yeah. The funny thing is, I will have to do like more property damage in order to remove it. Basically, gotta go with a key and like stroke it out and shit. Ugh. Can't feel safe anywhere. Absolutely. No, I said ideologies, not an ethnicity. Jesus Christ. No, so no, not Jews. You got the wrong chat there, buddy. Anyways, yeah, let's get started. You know how it goes. Today, special offer. Every single subscription basically means you're buying me a birthday gift. So be on the lookout for those. Let's start out. Let me pin the video in chat. Of course, everybody who is not subscribed to Spooky Scary Socialist, you're a fucking idiot, respectfully. Please go and subscribe right now. Let's get into it. This is going to be a wild ride. A video literally came out 1 hour ago. So let us start this. In college, me and my boys got hammered and stole every bench in college campus and rearranged them into a bench Stonehenge. Probably one of my proudest achievements. Not gonna lie. Oh, trust me, I have moved my buddy's car while he was asleep. So drunk, I was like, this is going to be so funny. Wonderful. And like drunk, driving literally like 1 kilometer an hour. I moved this car behind the building. And then on the next day when he woke up, he was my roommate. When he couldn't find the car, he stormed back into the room and was like, dude, somebody stole my car. We got to find my car. And then I went outside and together with him pretended to be really scared and to look for his car because we were so terrified. In the end, he literally picked up the phone to call the police, and I was like, yo, I know who stole the car. That's the good news. The bad news is you live in the same dorm room with him. Thank you, Lovelace. Thank you very much. Let's go. Happy birthday, bro. I'm betting you're 25. Feels right. In my soul, I definitely am, my friend. So yeah, he found it funny. He found it funny. Yo, I've been reading about Saddam, nepotism in his government, so extreme and absurd. That's like peak comedy. Like he joined the Ba'athist party because he was a cousin to al-Bakr, the leader of the Iraqi Ba'ath party. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Saddam was unhinged as fuck. Of course, that doesn't mean that the Americans should go in and kill 1 million fucking Iraqis, but yeah. Spooky Scary Socialist had to come out with another banger just for you Gopnik's birthday. Thank you for lubing up my narcissism. I already think that the world revolves around me. By the way, it's very difficult for you not to think that the world revolves around you when you make content and you get to live off of it. For me at least, it's the best job on the fucking planet. Again, I can only do it thanks to guys like yourself. Being in chat and supporting me, especially subscribers and so on. But it is difficult not to think the world revolves around you when you realize just how lucky you are to be able to do this full time, right? Like it immediately is like, dude, I'm a main character in this shit, right? Like when somebody asks me on the street, I'm no longer ashamed. I used to be ashamed, like, well, what do you do? I'm like, I sit in front of a computer and I write scripts, or I just talk to motherfuckers live and scream at them how they're stupid communists and they should become smart communists. Like, I'm fucking proud of it. So yeah, but it does something to your brain where you start thinking that you're the MC, because like who the hell gets to do this shit? Anyways, let's get started. Welcome in everybody. Wawa. We're already starting out with a fucking knife's edge, baby. Oh my god, it's the first 20 seconds and I'm laughing. Oh man, I missed you so much, Spooky. You fucking cunt.
Making it happen. Thank you.
Adolf Hitler does his ADL approved Roman salute. Genocide Joe moves to Israel after sniffing kids. Oh, come on. This is such a niche joke, dude. Fucking God.
You are stealing my house.
And if I don't steal it,
Somebody else is going to take it. Israeli settler. And he's like this. Whoa, he's like this. Steals another Palestinian home. Dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. He's running like... that's how I imagine Israeli settlers being. Coming and goes... I found home! Like I always imagine them like looking like Ninja Turtles, you know, like walking like side to side while stepping frontal, you know, like literal goblins. Like, oh Lord,
is allowed to steal it, يا عمي.
I take house now.
I'm pro-genocide. Like it sounds really shitty, but like I think that Israel should just draw up its fucking borders about where it is now. Palestinians can go live.
Molest me. Supports genocide between doing sex crimes. Like I love how Molestany's tagline is too long to fit in the screen. Like the crimes, the S is out. All the other ones you could fit. This man has such a CV of being an absolute fucking cunt that it doesn't fit on the thing. Thank you very much, Kubashi.
In another place.
I am not afraid. What?
Gets ignored. Selfie taking Israeli gets attacked by a Hamas pole. There's Polish people in Hamas. You see what I did there? Like they already did a joke, and then I did a meta joke on their joke, which makes me like a very funny guy.
May Allah awaken the people and help them to see the evil doings of Israel and the United States.
Donald awakens the people.
Since October 7th, 2023, the Zionist propaganda machine has been toiling non-stop to justify the genocide Israel is currently committing. Some of their propaganda has done nothing but show the absolutely vile side of Zionism. From laughing on TikTok about blockading Gaza's water and electricity, mocking Palestinians being murdered, or just yelling at halal card vendors to gloat about the murder of thousands of Palestinian children.
If we killed 4,000 Palestinian kids, you know what? It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough.
The Zionists aren't sending their best, but some of their propaganda sticks. When you're vomiting out volumes of Hezbollah, US politicians and the mass media run over each other to find the chunkiest bits and regurgitate it without a critical thought. Even all
Is this? Oh my God, that's Fetterman, isn't it? That's motherfucker. That's Fetterman. It is Fetterman. Okay, this is why I respect Zoomers, okay? This whole video is peak fucking Zoomer humor, okay? Bollywood, poo-poo pee-pee, human shields, chickens for KFC, all the classics, but why poo-poo pee-pee? He just added poo-poo pee-pee in there because it's like poo-poo pee-pee. We needed to fill up the red circle.
Politicians and the mass media run over each other to find the chunkiest bits and regurgitate it without a critical thought. Even old Genocide Joe took a break from sniffing the nearest child to reiterate that he had personally seen evidence that Hamas beheaded babies.
See and have confirmed pictures of terrorists beheading children.
This, of course, was a lie, but who's gonna talk? Certainly not him.
We finally beat Medicare.
Conservatives and liberals
And then with the little squeaky voice.
to be free speech advocates, now go Super Saiyan though when you say anything critical about Israel. They know that their narrative is falling flat, so they've resorted to simply arresting, beating up, and deporting people who disagree with them. They'll smear you as an anti-Semite or terrorist and intimidate you for daring to speak up about what you can see with your own eyes, that Israel's committing a genocidal campaign of extermination against Palestinians. The entire political establishment, the Zionist lobby, an army of disinformation peddlers, and a legion of slop streamers all stand with Israel, ready to destroy anyone who speaks up. Who can stand up to that? Only someone with absolutely no self-preservation or regard for the reputation would get out your watermelon.
Imagine being on the same picture with this, with Fetterman. I don't know who this is supposed to be. With Molestany, and of course the king of all kings. It's just like this is. These are the people we're fighting. I don't know. I feel kind of borderline pathetic. This is like, because you know that old saying, the type of enemies you have say a lot about what kind of a person you are, and just these are like embarrassing enemies to have. These are like bottom tier human genomes. Okay, thank you, Kenny. Thank you, Kenny, for the first month. Welcome to the community, my friend. It is a pleasure to have you here, brother. Judge me by my enemies. Well, if they judge us by our enemies, then we look soy, okay? You can't use that joke about settlers. It was promised to me 5,000 years ago, and now I must bomb your house.
That only someone with absolutely no
Z-tier ass ops. Exactly, man. Ops are lacking, but lacking too much. They're lacking so much that it's like...
self-preservation or regard for the reputation, whatever. Get out your watermelons and red triangles, let's tear down some Zionist talking points.
You see what they're doing there? The triangle, and then in the background, the foot. No punches are being pulled on this video.
On March 10th, 2003, 10 days before the invasion of Iraq, the lead singer of the American country band The Dixie Chicks spoke up against the war.
Just so you know, we're on the good side with y'all. We do not want war. We're ashamed of the President of the United States.
In response to this
That was sick.
War statement. They were blacklisted by country radio stations, had their CDs destroyed by protesters, lost sponsors, received death threats, and faced a barrage of right-wing smears. This was the reality after 9/11. Anyone who expressed any opposition to the Iraq War was cancelled by the soy right mob. Even a Texas country band of mostly blonde white women suddenly became the terrorist chicks because they dared to speak up against famous peacemaker George Bush.
Nothing new ever happens, guy, is like the king of the world, okay? You see, like this was 25 fucking years ago, it was the same shit. It was the same shit. Here, there, human rights, here, there, free speech, oh, no, not that type of free speech, not the one that contradicts my belief system, no, not that free speech, not allowed. Like, it's just like, it's all like just snakes eating their own ass, but like in parallel to each other. It's like fucking repeat. Well, what is life? It is a broken VHS tape that never stops playing, but just changes the faces of the characters. Ha ha! Freud or something, probably. I don't fucking know. Oh. And you know, and it's so extra, like circular, because it's like, because even me making this astute analysis that everything repeats and everything is cyclical, has already been made by someone else before who noticed the same cyclical thing and probably even made the same joke that he recognized, or she, that everything is cyclical and that even their analysis of it being cyclical is going to be repeated in the future, which proves that it is cyclical. Sorry, I'm having a crash out. Is that how your kids call it? I don't know. I'm 1 year older now. I have to use serious terminology that only the adults in the room have any privy to. But yeah. Now you, bro, you're the center of the universe. Squeal pig, you motherfucker. You piece of shit. What's up, sofa cushion?
Everyone knows the story of Bush.
I didn't think. Why is this video this funny? Like, this is very serious topic, but this is so fun. Everyone, link is pinned in the description. Please go and like the video. Please, for God's sakes, please like the video. This is some really good shit.
Wonderful.
Everyone knows the story of post-9/11 terrorist hysteria. The US government used it to strengthen the surveillance state, restrict citizens of civil liberties, and ostracize anyone who spoke up against a war that killed hundreds of thousands of innocent brown people for oil. Yet after October 7th, the same thing has happened. The government can simply call you a terrorist sympathizer for opposing genocide, kidnap you off the street, and throw you in an ICE detention center. All the while, the White House Twitter account celebrates by posting AI-generated Studio Ghibli versions of your mugshot.
Knife emoji. Thank you very much for your birthday gift. Every subscription today is a birthday gift. So you both get to avoid ads, make yourself feel really good because you're supporting your streamer economy, and give me a birthday gift. That's makes you feel extra good, I guess. I don't fucking know.
It's gotten to the point where anyone who says, hey, maybe Israel shouldn't be blowing up Palestinian babies, gets smeared as a Hamas terrorist sympathizer. Miss Rachel? Hamas. Reddit? Hamas. The entire country of Ireland? Hamas. The International Court.
By the way, I ordered the balaclava. Oh, dudes, you're not gonna believe. I actually ordered the that Irish band. My brain is now stopping. I ordered their balaclava in the Irish flag. Fucking thing never arrived. They texted me, "Oh, how do you like your stuff?" Kneecap. Yeah, it didn't arrive. It's lost somewhere in space. So now I'm talking to their customer support. This is like the world has turned against me getting another based balaclava. But yeah, unfortunately, it literally got lost in mail. Baklava Moscow. Sabotage. Kneecap your order. They were like, this man is not radical enough to wear a mask.
Court of Justice? Hamas. With everyone becoming a terrorist today, it might be helpful to break down what exactly makes one a terrorist organization. Is it massacring civilians? Or systematically destroying civilian infrastructure like hospitals, universities, and apartment buildings? Or torturing people? Or starving people to death? Or murdering children? By any definition, what Israel is doing to Gaza is terrorism. Not only is it terrorism, they're openly bragging about it and posting their war crimes on TikTok for clout. It is the people who are speaking up and fighting against this that are supposedly the real terrorists. In the same post-9/11 hysteria, civil liberties and free expression are stripped from you by simply slapping the label terrorist on you. And if that doesn't work, they'll also try to say, this is another fun smear they try to put on anyone who speaks up against Israel's genocide of Palestinians. The kind of argument is quite simple. Criticizing Israel is not the same as hatred of Jewish people. Opposing Zionism, a political ideology that supports the establishment of a Jewish state in Palestine, which necessarily entails ethnically cleansing Palestine's original inhabitants, dispossessing them of their land, and denying them of their human rights, is not the same as hating Jewish people, any more than opposing
And this is unironically that simple. Anybody trying to tell you that it is not that simple is either stupid or is basically pitching Zionism to you through a liberal lens. Okay, this is not a protected category of people for whom fascist movements utilizing ethnic and religious identity as a means to other and destroy their so-called perceived enemy and come back to a great past that has never existed. Okay, Israelis, if no other nation on planet Earth gets to do that, if no other nation on planet Earth gets to do apartheid, gets to do ethno-nationalism, gets to do mass incarceration, murder, and destruction of human beings or infrastructure of those who they deem inferior, then neither does Israel. Neither do, for example, yes, Jewish people. Nobody gets to do that. And if somebody makes an argument that, Israelis get to do this because they happen to be Jewish, they're doing, in my opinion, a weird subcategory of anti-Semitism, because it implies that they genuinely do believe that, Jews are fucking made off of a different piece of genetic code than other humans, which allows them directly to do whatever the fuck they want to do. No, you don't understand, stupid Slav man. This was promised to them 3,000 years ago in Holy Book. Fun lore dump about berry balls. My first tattoo was going to be a PLO IRA, same struggle tattoo, and instead got Tiok Faith Allah on my chest. That's fucking cool. You got a tattoo, Barry? I didn't know you got a tattoo. By the way, if anybody has noticed, we have a new mod, and it's Barry Balls, one of the fucking OGs. But Barry, does that mean that your wife is a mod now too? And your wife's boyfriend. Are you all mods? Or was it your boyfriend? Wait, did you have a boyfriend or did your wife have? I don't remember the lore. The lore is getting confusing. Barry is a confusing human being. In all the best of ways, okay? You fuck with Barry, you fuck with me.
Africa was anti-white. Certainly everyone reasonable understands this, right?
The U.S. House of Representatives has approved a resolution equating anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism.
Alright, let's take this from the top. So, Zionism originated as a thoroughly Christian idea before it ever became Jewish. After the Reformation, the idea was thrown around in Christian circles of bringing Jewish people to Palestine to fulfill biblical prophecy, bring about the second coming of Jesus Christ, and trigger the end times. A lot of these proto-Zionists were anti-Semites and believed that Jewish people could never assimilate into European society and thus needed to be shipped out of Europe. Then, when Zionism began to be spread among Jewish circles in the mid-19th century, everyone from Reform, Orthodox, Ultra-Orthodox, and Socialist Jews all opposed the idea for various reasons. Some of these groups eventually began to support Zionism, but it took decades, and even today, a significant number of ultra-Orthodox Jews remain.
Yes, fascist ideas can exist and can fester in particular communities until there is a contradiction so large, a crisis so large, where those types of radical reactionary quote-unquote philosophies and ideas can bubble up to the top and then basically take possession like a crazy ghost of the masses and push them into violent hysteria and conquest, etc., etc. That obviously was the Holocaust for Zionists.
And anti-Zionist. This brings about another important point. Some of the largest voices protesting Israel's actions are Jewish. Jewish Voice for Peace, for example.
The same way a crushed Germany after World War I, deeply impoverished and confused about their future, embraced fascism as a means to get out of it.
has staged multiple actions and
My wife and her boyfriend understood, Barry.
been arrested for protesting the genocide. A big point Zionists like to make is that a majority of Jewish people around the world support Zionism. So if you're anti-Zionist, then you're by proxy anti-Semitic because you oppose what a majority of Jewish people believe. So this fails on a few logical grounds. Christian Zionists, for example, outnumber Jewish Zionists 20 to 30-fold. Does this mean being anti-Zionist means you're by proxy Christophobic because a significant number of Christians believe in Zionism? Obviously not, because Zionism is a political ideology, not inherently tied to one religion or another. Anti-Zionists oppose Zionism because it's an ideology of ethnic supremacy that requires dispossessing, terrorizing, and ethnically cleansing Palestinians. It doesn't matter if every Jewish person or Christian person or Muslim person opposed it or supported it. The very idea of ethnic supremacy of one group of people over—
There you go. That's it. Ethnicity-based fascist doctrine. Doesn't fucking matter which ethnicity does it. End the fucking conversation. Why are we still here?
another
Just to suffer.
is wrong in itself. Now that we've covered the big two smears used to attack anyone who criticizes Israel, I'll focus on arguments that have cropped up specifically since the start of Israel's genocide. Starting with, of course,
You know what other fascist movement uses very real past historic trauma as a motivational factor for people to join their movement? Every single one of them. Every fascist movement or even successful, quote unquote successful, fascist government in the past has done like, oh, look, very traumatic past event that has happened to our people. Look, very real past traumatic event that we will now bastardize in order to motivate the masses to do that type of shit to some other motherfuckers. It's not necessarily just Israeli or whatever that they're pointing back at, the Holocaust and so on as a way to excuse what they're doing. Every single fascist movement ever has done the same thing. Ooh, the Germans have been put under the boot and completely ignored by Europe. We must rise and show them that we are truly powerful and not somebody to be trifled with. Oh, Italy of today is not like ancient Rome. We have been bastardized and destroyed by the barbarian and the race mixer, and we deserve our place under the sun again. We will no longer be oppressed, and the Italian shall take all its territories that rightfully belong to him back. Like all of them. All of them. All the Turks mass genocided and murdered our people for 500 years. That's why it's okay to kill Muslim Bosnians now. Like always. It's the same thing. In Israel, it's not special.
Usually, the hardest part of proving a genocide is intent. No one can deny that Israel is massacring Palestinians, mostly women and children, but the talking point goes, it's not a genocide. It's a war. They're trying to eliminate Hamas, and, mass murdering women and children is just a tragic byproduct of that goal. Of course, this falls apart when you see what Israeli politicians are saying and have been saying for over a year, that they want the complete annihilation of the Palestinian people.
מצור מוחלט על העיר עזה. אין חשמל, אין מזון, אין מים, אין דלק. הכל סגור. אנחנו נלחמים בחיות אדם.
He felt really powerful when he was saying this, but I'm 100% sure he regrets it. Because, just this speech being played on millions of phones through TikTok probably created, just this speech probably created 10 million anti-Zionists. At least. Talking about 10 million human beings. At least. Just from this speech. Massive, let's put morality to the side. Just massive Hasbara fumble. Fumble the bag so fucking hard. Just dumb move, hardcore dumb move. Let me say this stuff and then publish it. Because they were like, oh, this is for internal consumption. You see, he's not speaking in English, obviously. And, Israelis are really going to vote really hard for me next term because I will show just how hard I will be on those goddamn Muslims, right? But no, fumbled the bag. Ended up being consumed outside. They were so used to nobody paying attention when they said this shit. Now people are watching. Absolutely. They did not calculate just how big the coverage of all of this is going to be in the coming months and unfortunately now years, because it's been lasting for fucking years.
It's an entire nation out there that is responsible. It's not true. This rhetoric about civilians not aware, not involved, it's absolutely not true.
We shall realize the prophecy of Isaiah.
And these are only a few of the incitements to genocide made by the most prominent Israeli politicians. Law for Palestine has over 500 genocidal statements from army personnel, journalists, influencers, and former government officials, some of which were used by South Africa to prove at the International Court of Justice that Israel was committing a genocide. So when we have a state that's saying they're doing a genocide, and we also see on the ground they're doing genocide, it's no wonder that almost everyone agrees they're doing a genocide. Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, the UN.
But have you considered that the group doing the genocide was once genocided? But sir, what does that have to do with the fact that people are getting genocided right now? I'm not listening to you. I am wallowing in the depth of my own intellect. Come bathe with me in it as well. That's like every single New York Zionist, like ever. Every single non-Jewish New York Zionist. That's the whole argument. Oh.
UN, Euromed, Doctors Without Borders, and almost every genocide and Holocaust scholar agrees that Israel is committing a genocide. When one genocide scholar was asked if he could name one expert who thinks what Israel is doing in Gaza is not a genocide, he said he didn't know one. The only people for whom the genocide label is controversial are those that willfully ignore what the Israeli state says, has done, and is doing, which is why a lot of Zionist loppers have dropped the act and straight up said they support genocide. One way Zionists justify mass murdering Palestinians is that Hamas is using them as human shields. See, it's not their fault they had to blow up that baby, it's actually Hamas's fault. This talking point is used less and less now as it's become increasingly clear Israel has indiscriminately destroyed everything in the Gaza Strip. Nevertheless, the human shield argument is always transparently ridiculous because there was never any proof.
We conducted several interviews, dozens of interviews with civilians and with people, Palestinians, in areas that were designated as combat zones. But we have not documented at least one case of Palestinian armed members using civilians as human shields.
Instead, what's been standard practice is Israeli soldiers using Palestinians as human shields. And you don't even have to take my word for it, we can see it with our own eyes and listen to former IDF soldiers testify that it's common practice. Rather than Palestinian civilians being human shields for an operation otherwise surgically targeting Hamas, it's civilians who are being surgically targeted. Testimony after testimony from doctors in Gaza show that the Israeli army aims for and murders children, killing them with bullets to the head or chest. Palestinians aren't human shields for Hamas.
Yes, but absolutely all 100% correct. That's the unfortunate side effect of a guerrilla battle against a quote-unquote formal army, because the formal army can paint almost anyone as part of said guerrilla. Guerrillas don't have, official membership status. And for example, Hamas does have quote-unquote official membership status of, commandos, commanders, the executive body of the movement, etc., etc. But as you go down in the hierarchy, it's very fluid. It's basically the resistance force. So if you are the IDF, you're a formal army and you're hitting civilian targets, the fact that you're fighting a guerrilla lends itself a lot to you being able to basically just pitch the civilians that you are killing as active militants and therefore legitimate targets, right? And that's what almost every formal army fighting a guerrilla force has done at every point. Just the Israelis have done it so fucking much and killed so many civilians that even that very strong basically caveat, very strong loophole in what is defined as combatant and non-combatant doesn't apply to them because they did it so much. It's just like they can't help themselves. That's the greatest contradiction, in my opinion, of Zionism in particular. Zionist settler colonialism, not settler colonialism in general, Zionist settler colonialism. They really can't help themselves. They are truly driven not by practicality, but by pure ideological fervor and hatred, right? Like this is just fueled by evil shit, right? And when you're fueled by evil shit, you start cutting corners, overdoing it, and eventually showing your ass to the world, a genocidal, psychotic, fascist ass. It's not, Zionism is not a cold, calculated machine, okay? It is not. It is barbaric, insane, over the top, and foaming at the mouth.
They're human targets for the IDF. Of course, Hamas has offered to free the hostages again and again, most commonly in the form of all-for-all deals, in which they'll release all their hostages in exchange for all the thousands of Palestinians arbitrarily kidnapped and held hostage in Israeli prisons. It's been the Israeli government that's rejected and sabotaged these deals, instead opting to free the hostages from life.
The one tactic against guerrillas that doesn't rely on eliminating the whole population is to propagandize civilians against the guerrillas. Israel doesn't even try doing that, absolutely, because they know it's impossible. The only Quislings that they have in Gaza proper are, fucking psychos, deranged people that used to be ISIS and so on. That, just want to pillage, rape, and murder. And they're like, oh, you want to be part of a legitimate civil governance and we'll let you pillage and murder and rape? Hit us up. Hit me up on my second phone, bro. That's the only like Palestinian traitors you have in Gaza proper. People who care about nothing. Literal mass murdering criminals.
Life by indiscriminately bombing Gaza, including areas where the hostages are held, depriving hostages of food and water by starving the entire strip, and outright murdering hostages if they try to escape and run to Israeli forces. When Palestinian resistance forces were returning to Gaza after October 7th, Israel greenlit the Hannibal Directive and attacked vehicles carrying their own hostages. These actions are why some family members of the hostages have publicly repudiated the Israeli government, which at every turn has sabotaged the one thing that would guarantee their safe return: a deal. When short-lived hostage exchange deals are made, we can see the conditions of Palestinian and Israeli hostages. Hostages kept by Hamas are relatively okay for being hostages and happy to be released, kissing or shaking hands with their captors. Compare that with the conditions.
As long as there's like two guys that identify as Hamas that are keeping a hostage somewhere, Israel can continue saying that Hamas still exists and still operates. Right? That's why they cannot release. That's why they don't want every single one, because their plausible deniability goes through the window.
Of the much larger number of Palestinian hostages kept by Israel, who show clear marks of torture, assault, and starvation. Many of these hostages, by the way, are usually just random Palestinian civilians kidnapped by the IDF without any charges, despite Zionist attempts to smear them all as terrorists. Compare that with the descriptions of some hostages kept by Hamas, who are helpless innocents who happen to be kidnapped from a tank. Kidnapped my large adult son on October.
Spooky, you're crazy, motherfucker. Spooky does not give a shit.
October 7th, Hamas terrorists kidnapped my poor baby boy from his killdozer. He will dance again.
Kino. My God.
There is no evidence of mass systemic rape.
Also, to write the word mass rape, play techno over it, and move it around the screen is the future of YouTube. That's what it fucking is.
There is no evidence of
this is shitbag left behavior. Okay, this is what I advocate for. This is shitbag left behavior. This is a what do you call it? A by the book dictionary definition of shitbag behavior. I stand for it.
Of mass systemic rape on October 7th. Whoa, get a load of this guy. He's a rape denier. So much for believe all women. He's actually a raging misogynist. He's a rape denying, terrorist sympathizing, communist, misogynist, anti-Semitic, and on and on and on. Zionists love to pile smears on anyone who pushes back against.
Why does this like weird ass Wojak look like Ethan Klein?
Their propaganda. And it's an easy strategy. You just assert an atrocity without evidence, like, for example, 40 babies were beheaded by Hamas, and when you ask for proof, they pile the smears on. I mean, would you really doubt that Hamas beheaded 40 babies when Joe Biden himself said he saw proof? He's the most mentally lucid person in the world. Wow. Is this guy seriously insulting an 82-year-old man with cancer? What a baby beheading denying ageist. Of course, there was no evidence of 40 beheaded babies. It was a lie to manufacture support for—
You see, this is shitbag. This is using the tactics of the right against the right, right? When he's doing this character, he's basically calling right-wingers soy complainers about everything and people that are obsessed with identity only when it suits their particular interests, right? That's usually the shit that gets thrown in right-wing propaganda at us. He takes that shit, okay? Spooky takes that shit, he makes it into a snowball of shit and hurls it right back at them. Petty, okay? Dirty, nasty, shitbaggy, okay? That is what I like to see. Continuation of my theory. I can't help being right. Non-fucking stop.
Denying ageist. Of course, there was no evidence
left
of 40 beheaded babies. It was a lie to manufacture support for the genocide Israel is currently enacting on Gaza. The same goes for allegations of mass rape. This is all atrocity propaganda, painting a picture so horrific it justifies genociding every man, woman, and child in Gaza.
It's the next stage of Israel's propaganda blitz, as Tel Aviv quickly pivoted from beheaded babies and other completely made-up atrocities to the suddenly discovered plague of systemic rape by Hamas on October 7th.
This, by the way, is not to mock or dismiss real survivors of sexual abuse, because all these months later, there's still not a single victim of mass rape on October 7th, living or dead, that can be positively identified. The New York Times article that broke the mass rape story has been thoroughly debunked, with family members of their cited victims saying they were not raped, the reporting having no prior reporting experience, and the Times podcast itself shelving an episode on the article because of factual issues. Other so-called evidence include confessions made under torture whose reliability is rejected by multiple human rights organizations. Finally, Israel itself has obstructed investigations into mass rape on October 7th. Investigations that, despite pulling a lot of strings, did not find any convincing evidence and in fact found that some evidence had been fabricated. Despite the lack of proof of mass systemic rape on October 7th, Israeli mass rape of Palestinian prisoners is not only well documented in, for example, a UN report entitled More Than a Human Can Bear, but celebrated by Israelis. When a video of 10 IDF soldiers gang raping a Palestinian prisoner got released, protests broke out in Israel not against the gang rape, but in defense of the soldiers' right to rape. Israeli politicians called these rapists heroes, and protesters stormed the prison where they were being held. This, by the way, is why Israel keeps it—
I don't know, that might be like the craziest news story of the decade. Prison guard rapists rape prisoner. Whole country supports rapist, says he is hero. Rapist shakes hands of political establishment of country and goes on talk shows where everybody is like, yeah, bro, based rapist man. Who said based? We did. About whom? About the rapist guy. That is a thing that happened in 2025. That will be in history books. In 2130, when they're like, oh, I wonder what people were like in 2025. Let me Google the most read and most insane article that came out of that year. Oh, they put a rapist on a talk show and were like, man, you're so based with the way you rape. This is what our children will judge us on. Great.
Obstructing October 7th mass rape investigations. They don't want neutral investigators to dig into their own atrocities. So yeah, Zionists aren't rape deniers, they're rape
Okay, thanks.
celebrators. When an endless feed of genocidal war crimes are being streamed on your phone, Israel needs a way to explain it away. The solution they came up with is that all these videos of children being blown to bits, mother murdering their babies, and children crying and being orphaned by an Israeli missile strike is that they're all staged by Pallywood. Of course, the most obvious response is that Israeli soldiers themselves openly post their war crimes for clout, blowing up homes for their mom, ransacking Palestinian homes, posing with looted lingerie, bulldozing neighbors.
I was literally the first guy to do that spin. I'm sorry, I'm going to tap myself on the back. A year and a half ago, I fucking dropped that fucking video. Social media of war, or I don't remember what I called it. Posting genocide on Maine. And it blew up. I'm not saying that I invented that argument, but in our little circle and shit, I really, let's say, contextualized it, which I hate.
neighborhoods and destroying mosques. Even ignoring the fact that they're posting their own war crimes, the evidence Zionists trot out for Pallywood itself is flimsy. This footage of Palestinians faking injuries is from the set of a short film made in Lebanon. This alleged image of a Gazan texting someone in a body bag is actually a 2022 Halloween costume contest in Thailand. This alleged footage of Palestinians faking industry is actually from a zombie-themed ad filmed in Algeria, and so on and so forth, and countless examples. The genocide in Gaza is the most documented genocide in history, and claiming that hundreds of thousands of hours of footage are all faked is a sad attempt to whitewash Israel's atrocities and make a mockery of Palestinians.
Yeah, thank you, Barry. I don't even know the names of my videos. True professional. Support this true professional so that when the kids of the future Google 2025 top cool content by Man in Mask screaming communism on Twitch, you can say to your great-grandson, oh, remember that guy? I was a subscriber, and I also avoided ads like the ones that are going to play in exactly 4 minutes. Change history. Support the channel. Don't watch ads. And today, very special because birthday was yesterday. It basically counts as a birthday gift. So you can say that you were at my birthday. Yes, subscribe now because stuff.
And suffering. I mean, quite literally,
We were here.
Israelis have taken to mocking Palestinians.
You know what brand is that bag, brother? It is Diesel. It was a birthday gift by the woman for my previous birthday. Oh, you know what she bought me? You guys are gonna die now.
Wonderful, a new child soldier.
You know what was the birthday gift from the woman? 7 days in Beijing, China. Hotel. We're gonna be streaming from China, chat. In October, I'm going to China. Flight there and back. Very nice hotel in the center. We streaming from China, chat. Now find yourself a woman like that, okay? Find yourself a fucking woman like that. Find yourself a woman like that. Maybe I will figure something out if I have enough subscribers by then for like to buy an IRL streaming set, an IRL stream from China. IRL Tiananmen Square stream in China. Let's get arrested, eh? Thank you, Berserk Kitty, for those 6 months. That is extremely kind of you, my friend. Welcome to the community. Thank you for the birthday gift. Thank you for contributing to the China streamer kit. Visit a Chinese library. Yeah, pretty crazy. I can't wait. So you're gonna smuggle me into China in your suitcase, right? Why not? My fiance winces when I talk about visiting China. Built different, bro. What can I say? But yeah. Find yourself. I'm very lucky. All I'm saying is I'm very lucky. Westerner wearing a mask while streaming in Tiananmen Square. If you call me a Westerner one more time, I will lose my fucking shit in 4K, okay? I'm flipping this table. Though practically for a Chinese person, yeah, I would be a Westerner. I've been warned by one dude that I know that's been to China, that's like of my ethnicity, so very tall, that the only minus is that they stare like motherfuckers at like tall pasty dudes. But I'm okay with attention. Look at what I do for a living. I'm okay with attention. Welcome to Westoy Dome. Do we have permission to call your fiancée the woman? Absolutely. She is the woman. I literally call her woman. I even used to and I genuinely don't do it in a misogynist way. I just really like it. I used to call my mother woman. What is happening, woman? When I was like a teenager, when I was 15 or some shit. What the fuck? A treasure train? A treasure chain just started on your channel. Participants save 35% on 5 or more gift subs at level 5. True motherfucking true. Welcome to a Yugopnik hype train where we do the greatest battle to ever happen. 1v1v1. Civil War hype train. Birthday edition.
Crazy hamburger!
It's Juro comes in with a 10 before we even decided what the battle is going to be. Open up your wallets. It is time to choose. In our great battle from last week, we had boobs versus booty versus feet, and you can see the results on screen. Booty dominated, feet bit the dust, and boobs did okay, I guess. So, ladies, gentlemen, and MPs, welcome to Civil War, part, 20. What shall we fight about today? Thank you very much, Juro. Thank you very much, my friend. We will count your votes. You will be able to cast them once we start the battle of the day. For those of you who are new here, basically when we have a hype train, we pick a bunch of stuff and then you guys battle it out on what is preferred through your subscriptions. Okay? How did it get negative? People really hated feet. People really did not want feet in there, okay? Zionists versus Nazis, which one is worse? That might be TOS. Ah, shit, that was a great idea. Sino-Soviet split. We did that one once. Who was more based, Che Guevara or Fidel? Oh, that's a good one. That's a great one. That's a really good one. That's a really good one. But let's make... we're doing it, but with three dudes. I'm going to make this extremely controversial because these people should not be compared, in my opinion, okay? Che Guevara, Fidel, and I'm going to make it really fucked up, Lenin. The reason I put them in the same category is because they were all revolutionary figures, like actively participated in revolution in different ways, of course. So, to say it one more time, ladies, gentlemen, and NBs, welcome to today's Hype Train battle, where Che Guevara, Fidel Castro, and Lenin will fight for the first time. Who is the most based will be said by you. Is this hyper-ironic, and would they find it to be disgusting that we are throwing money at their names in a simple Twitch game of whose dick is bigger? Probably. Will we still do it? Yes. Why? Because it's fun to nerd out for a little bit and stimulate the channel. So, Juro, your first 10 votes, my friend. It's very unfair. On his birthday? Absolutely. So, Juro, who do you give your first tenner to, my friend? Who do you support? Remember, every sub is a vote. Every gift sub is a vote. But you go, I'm Cuban. You gotta do what you gotta do. John Lennon, the first 10 votes. Go to Lenin. Lenin! You have one more minute before the hype train ends. MFG comes in with a sub. MFG, who do you support out of these three brilliant men? Tudum-tum. MFG. Is it John or Vlad? It's Vlad. It's Vlad. How do we cast a vote? You subscribe or gift a sub. That is how it's, extra spicy. It's over, Habib. MFG, who do you vote for? MFG, just write it in text, motherfucker. Who do you vote for? MFG is still refusing to say. And, ladies, gentlemen, and NBs, Toasty comes in with 5 gift subs, and so does Pixarino. Is Lenin going to be on top? Or is someone going to take his bold ass down? Who does Pixarino and Toasty vote for? Toasty, of course, says Che Guevara. We have 5 votes for Che. Pixarino, who do you vote for? Lady, the XD, who do you vote for? Pizza Famine walks in with another 10. Who do you support, my friend? Pixarino, the first one, says Fidel, because his Eurostep made Che question communism.
Crazy hamburger! Crazy hamburger!
We got Pixarino giving 5 to Fidel. After that, we had Lady DXD. Lady, Cuba, of course. But Cuba, okay, both are Cuba, but Fidel is Cuban, so which one? Fidel or Che Guevara? Lady, Fidel or Che Guevara? Fuck it, Fidel. Fidel gets a very proud 5 votes from Lady DXD. Now Fidel is staring down the barrel of his rifle, looking at the glistening head of Lenin himself. Might it be over for Lenin? No, says Pizza Famine with another 10 and says, of course, it's gotta be Lenin. We go up to 20. Thank you everyone subscribing for your beautiful gift subs. Now Lenin completely domineering and Che Guevara sitting in a cuck chair. How will this proceed? Polky comes in with a very profound tenor. Polky, thank you for supporting the treasure train, but who do you vote for? This is so much fun every time. Polky, you must tell us. Polky, my friend, tell us who you vote for. The boss music is playing in the background. Polky birthday boy, Fidel Castro. 10 more votes. This is getting edgy. And then Mamdani comes in. Mamdani with those 3. Who is your preferred based Chadman of history? 1 for each, or 3 for Joma if that's allowed. I will give 1 for each. Thank you for your contribution. Beards, or bald heads, mustaches, or very fashionable hats. Very warm places to battle out a revolution, or very cold places to battle out a revolution. It is Fidel versus Lenin, with Che, probably who wouldn't even want to participate in this battle, chilling on the sidelines. Che is Argentinian, the fuck? Yeah, Che is Argentinian. I know some stuff comes in with another vote. Who do you support? Also, 6-stringed anarchist, welcome in. I'm guessing 6-stringed anarchist vote is not going to be for Lenin. Che gets another thank you very much. And I know some stuff.
Crazy hamburger!
I know some stuff. Let your voice be heard today, for this is a truly close battle. Stalin. Okay. Void. And Cynical Chris, incredibly kind, continuing this fantastic hype train, comes in with a tenor. Lenin, now standing atop of his Soviet snowy mountain, looking down upon the Argentinian and the Cuban and saying, I have walked before you could run. McGinn comes in with 200 bits, which counts as 1 sub, and gives them to who? To Che. Barry Balls, who do you support for? The one who walked before they could run, or the ones that ran faster than anyone else in the Western Hemisphere? Barry, speak your cause, brother! Laubfrau comes in with 1,000 biddies. I don't know how to calculate that. That's... I don't know why I gave a vote for 200 bits, but now I'm going to give it... 1,000 is 3 votes. 1,000 is very fair 3 votes, I believe. 1,000 is 3 votes. 500 is 2 votes. Thank you, Laubfrau, with that 1,000. Who do you support? Barry Bell's 5? What? 5? What, it's 5? No, it's not 5. It's not 5 subscriptions. 5 subscriptions is $30. 1,000 bits is $12. What? My math is just wrong. 1,000 will be 5 votes. 500 will be 3 votes. That's it. That's it. Okay. It is 5 by price. Oh, it is 5 by price. Okay. It is 5. Laubfrau, who do you vote for? 1,000 bits is 5 votes. Okay. We are still working out our casino system here. Okay. 200 bits was 1. Okay, understand. I voted 1 for Che Guevara gets another 1. Laubfrau, you may tell me who you support. Mamdani comes back to the battle with another 5er. Who do you support? Math is an unjustifiable hierarchy. From the 5 for Che, hate that I'm doing this. I love that you're doing this. Che Guevara finally waking up from a drunken, cigar-filled stupor to rejoin the battle. The battle of brothers against brothers. The battle of who, you Gopnik Twitch chat, believes contributed the most to the cause. Okay, this music is making my fucking head explode. This is like Ultra Kill OST Divine Intervention. It's like the ultimate boss song, in my modest opinion. We have 14 for Che Guevara, 21 for Fidel Castro, and 31 for Vladimir Ilyich Lenin. Imagine you made this with Hakim and you asked Lenin or Che. His brain would actually pop, probably. Ultra Kill is very sick. So now let's continue our conversation. I will leave this in the background the way I always do. Where they say where you eat me, macOS screen capture, and whenever somebody votes, I will bring it back in. Bring it back in. I will indeed. Telecounter, where telecount app? There it is. So that you guys see it here in the corner. And as long as the hype train lasts, only tough people last. This battle will also continue to last. Now we're going back to debunking every Zionist argument ever. A brilliant video by Spooky Scary Socialist who needs every single one of you to go there and click a like on the fucking video. Thank you very kindly. Where's the poll? The poll is your subscriptions, my friend. The poll is your subscriptions. We have 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Are you really going to let Lenin, white boy Lenin, dominate two POCs? I knew there was the chat was always problematic. Hugo, before, what is your vote? We must know. Lenin. Because he literally walked before any other revolutionary could run.
Wonderful. A new
That's why. Lenin. Absolutely 100% Lenin. The other two have contributed immensely to guerrilla tactics and to the socialist movement and to a country stable enough to this day, even with all the sanctions, to continue down its version of the socialist path. I would gladly lay my life in the service of either of them. But Lenin is like, like it's like Jesus or his disciples. You gotta pick Jesus, Thank you, Lovelace. Who do you vote for? Lovelace, tell me your vote. Who do you vote for, my friend? We are 30 seconds left. We are 30 seconds left. I'm going to start the video after this ends, if it ends.
Crazy hamburger! Crazy hamburger!
Toasty didn't want it to end. For a second there, Lenin dominated over his POC opponents. But Toasty Android wanted to say something about that. Che, because I like guerrilla warfare. Now, in a great surprise, Che goes above and beyond even Fidel. The battle adapts to the terrain, and the people have spoken. Will the white boy remain on top? Another middle-aged white man dominating every choice? Or will we see something change? The battle will continue in the background as we get back to business. Based as shit, based as shit. Che because he loved ice cream. Che because he's fucking an ultimate role model. That's what he is. 100 men versus one gorilla. Oh, we need to do that one. We need to do that one.
On social media. The great irony, of course, is that it's the Israeli side that conducts the worst hoaxes. Hey guys, so today we're going to do the world's most moral tier list of bad Israeli Hezbollah. So first we have the elite terrorist conversation about the Al-Ali Arab hospital explosion. Wow, what a throwback. This was back when Israel first bombed a hospital in Gaza and panicked at the international backlash, making up a fake conversation between terrorists, who conveniently said,
Not only he, what a shame it was our rocket, non-Israeli airstrike that blew up the hospital.
Multiple experts now have said the call was an obvious fabrication, and it's moot now that Israel's attacked every hospital in the Gaza Gaza Strip and doesn't even pretend anymore. This one's going in D tier just because of how poorly it's aged. Then we have the Hamas sign-in sheet hoax, where the IDF claimed to have found a list of terrorist names in a hospital that turned out to just...
By the way, it doesn't warrant saying, but thank you to all the subs. Thank you to all the birthday gifts. I really appreciate it.
be a counter. I mean, on the one hand, this one is so lazy, but on the other, you kind of gotta respect the shit.
Double audio? What the hell? What the hell on? What the hell, Barry? Double audio. What? I apologize, chat.
You're lazy.
You see, you do nothing and it just starts. Okay, I'll lower this. Let's see.
So that puts them in B tiers because it's hilarious.
Should be
the
fine now.
Al-Shifa nurse hoax is a classic. This one is faked footage of a nurse in the Al-Shifa hospital claiming Hamas was stealing food and medicine. Of course, her accent was completely wrong. The footage reused the same explosion sound effect in the background, and staff at the hospital said they had no clue who she was. I'm putting
apologies.
This one in F tier. Okay, well, I think y'all get the point. But if you
He
want
is literally tearing Hasbara. This is fucking awesome.
a full tier list video, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell.
That would be funny. Tier listing Hasbara. That would be fucking hilarious.
So if you're committing a genocide, how do you downplay it? Well, as we saw before, saying that the carnage was all staged is one way of doing it. Another way is by saying the death toll numbers are fake. I mean, do you really believe the
Hamas One Health Ministry?
They literally have Hamas in their...
Everything just repeats. Bush did 9/11. His... you know, we used to point at motherfuckers and be like, man, you creepy, weird motherfucker. But now they're like, oh, Hollywood. And everybody's like, oh my God, that's brilliant. Yeah, yeah. They're all faking it, dude. Massive production budgets.
Their name. Of course it's not trustworthy. Except, of course, this is wrong. When media reporting uses terms like
Hamas One Health Ministry.
The image they try to conjure up is that of doctors with Hamas headbands screaming scary Arabic words and boosting up fake death toll numbers to generate international sympathy for their cause. The reality is that what we usually associate...
Allahu Akbar! These are rookie numbers! We must increase the numbers! Yes, my friend, we will increase the numbers. How many will we say died today? 700 million? We gotta do it more slow. We will say 70. Is that okay? That is rookie numbers. What the fuck? Like, that's what's playing in the heads of Zionists. Like, what, the Hamas guys are chilling in an office, fully strapped out with fucking AKs and RPGs, like wearing their bandanas, like just sitting there, like, oh bro, like they moved me to this detachment. From which detachment? I used to be, you know, infantry, you know, first guy through the door. Now I work in the health ministry, bro. Like, I don't even know what the fuck I'm supposed to do here. You like call Al Jazeera, you like spam Al Jazeera, okay? And you tell them people dying. And what are you gonna do in the meanwhile? Oh, I am. Look at me. I am like a octopus with like 70 computers and phones in front of him. I post on Twitter, okay? I post on Twitter. You will lie about the numbers, and I will post on Twitter. Oh Lord.
Associated with Hamas, their
Hamas posters, dude.
Fighters are
1 minute. 1 minute left of hype train. 1 minute or it's over. Or it's over. Okay, God bless. So, ladies, gentlemen, and MBs. What the fuck? We have it. Officially, Ugopnik Twitch chat is, wait for it, white supremacist. There you go. That's the only thing that you've shown me through this. Okay? Or at least the people with money to vote and gift subs are white supremacists. Two very, very legitimate POCs, and you give it to a bold old white guy. Okay? Motherfucker's a lawyer. Okay? A lawyer wins this. Okay? Insane. Insane behavior by chat. Insane. Oh my God. I almost showed some stuff that I wasn't supposed to. Okay, this one. But, nonetheless, Lenin has won the day. So, we will adjust our list, ladies, gentlemen, and NBs. Lenin. No, not caps lock. Lenin versus Fidel versus Che. Winner, Lenin. Level 11 hype train. We're getting a clearer and clearer picture of what chat is really like, okay? Is chat racist? Question mark. Just to learn something from today's day, okay? So, ladies, gentlemen, and NBs, let us recap the civil wars up until this day. Chat is bisexual, circumcised, loves hot dogs, puts mayo and ketchup on their fries, doesn't really want a pet, neither a dog or a cat, prefers Mao's China over the USSR. In a battle between West Coast and East Coast, they chose a united America for some reason. They are all power bottoms, okay? They hate both Marvel and DC and find nerds to be cringe as fuck. They are really into booties, not into boobs, and really not into feet. And apparently, they're a little bit racist because they chose Lenin over Fidel and Che. Yeah, this pretty much does sound like a very classic Twitch chat, you know, except for the more classic, like Twitch chat would really like nerd out over Marvel versus DC, but you guys completely refuse that shit. So this profile is screaming fed. What, bisexual booty lovers or booty loving bottoms are feds? You need to commission an artist to draw the average Ugopnik chatter based on these descriptions. That's a great fucking idea. We can add stuff to it. That is a brilliant idea. That is a brilliant idea. Phenomenal. Pravda headline. Ugopnik harboring white supremacism amongst his chat circles. Chat has to respond. Next poll be like black, Asian, or white. Imagine. I mean, I mean, it would be funny. It would ironically be funny, but it would be so weird if white wins. It would be so weird if white wins. If white wins, I would like immediately need to disconnect. Like I would like that. I would immediately need to disconnect. Other. You imagine black, Asian, and other are the only categories. Speaking of white supremacy, have you taken this test? What the fuck is this? The race purity test is a racism assessment based on one's experience with different races throughout life. The higher you score, the more racist you are. Caution, this is not a bucket list. Completion of all items on this test will likely result in angry liberals yelling at you on X. What the fucking helly? You've DoorDashed a meal during a heavy snowstorm. Okay, so it's a conserve a cuck thing. I can already see what they're doing. Like, if you're DoorDashed and DoorDash people are minorities, you were lyricism. Fought the racist allegations with I'm not racist, I have black friends. What? But that would make you kind of right. Okay, fuck it. No, I haven't. Believe that black people are usually better at sports, excluding swimming. What? No. Believe that Asians are usually good at math. No. Believe that white people are the beauty standard. They are not the beauty standard default. They are the forced beauty standard. So this is obviously trying to make me say something that I'm not fucking saying. Don't believe that white people are the beauty standards. I believe that the imposed beauty standard is very white-centric. So should I click on this one or no? There are hard slurs in that site. Stop. Really? Jesus Christ. Yeah, I saw them. Okay. I thought we were going to have some fun, but you can't even have fun with these fascist fucking idiots. Jesus Christ. Okay. So yeah, chat. Lenin one that makes you bigots. Let's continue. Hugo is the beauty standard of the world, just happens to be his white. I am the beauty standard because you cannot see my face as it should be. Okay.
The Al-Qassam brigades. Hamas is the government of Gaza, so technically any government
There are heart slurs on the site. Really? Go search looking for them. Never change. What was this? I gotta double check. What the fuck? What the fuck? One of them I don't think I even knew. I am making a video that's going to come out in around a week. Is literally going to be the history of every slur ever. Okay? I am not afraid. I am not afraid. Or whatever. Off whatever. Speaking of which, now I'm going to check up on Wow Mao. Wow Mao says that he might finish it by the 15th. But the way Wow Mao texted me, I can't show you my private DMs. But Wow Mao said, I texted him like, yo, when we're releasing this, get me the video by the 15th. Is that fair? And I'll publish it on the 17th. And you know how he replies? He replies, still on it. Don't worry. I'll defo have something to show you by the 15th. The motherfucker won't be done by the 15th. I'll have something to show you by the 15th. Been a lot of fun. I'm glad it's fun. I will have something to show you by the 15th. I'm kidding. I fucking love Wow Mao. Do you think that when working with the Wow Mao, I would think that things are going to get done by deadlines? The only reason I'm throwing deadlines at him, because if I don't throw deadlines at him, we will finish the video next year. One of the questions, do you think immigrants should be able to shoot people? And if you said no, that counted as racism. I believe everyone has the right to shoot people. In when they attack them with another firearm. Jesus, almost TOS'd myself there.
Teacher is a quote-unquote member of Hamas, even if they were working for the government before Hamas came into power. This, by the way, is how Israel justifies murdering Gazan bureaucrats by saying they killed a Hamas official.
Lazy commie? Yes, I'm very proudly lazy. I do not take pride in making my boss more money and pitching that as some sort of esteemed standard, as something that is really good. No, thank you. No, thank you very much. There you go. And now it's gone. Now the audio is gone.
Was kill someone.
There you go. We're going to go back.
The reality is that what we usually associate with Hamas, their fighters, are relegated to their military wing, the Al-Qassam brigades. Hamas is the government of Gaza, so technically any government bureaucrat, medical professional, or teacher is a quote-unquote member of Hamas, even if they were working for the government before Hamas came into power. This, by the way, is how Israel justifies murdering Gazan bureaucrats by saying they killed a Hamas official, when what they really did was kill someone responsible for carrying out the functions of any normal government. Despite transparent attempts to smear the doctors working for the Gazan health ministry as terrorists.
I'm going to call you brother. Hell yeah, my friend. Hell yeah.
The United Nations, World Health Organization, and Human Rights Watch have all testified that their numbers are largely accurate. When looking at past death counts, the Gazan Health Ministry has never inflated numbers and been largely consistent with other independent counts. In fact, if anything, the Gazan Health Ministry is undercounting deaths. Their methodology relies on actually observing a dead body, usually in morgues, or reports from friends and family that are then verified. This is an incredibly strict process that has only been made harder by the fact that Israel has bombed and invaded hospitals, murdered hospital staff.
Dude, it's going to be the number of victims is going to be underreported for one very simple reason. Not overreported like these fucking freaks say. No, the opposite. It will be underreported because if a single death that is not legitimate is published by the health ministry in Gaza, the Zionists are going to use it as anti-Palestinian propaganda for the next 10 fucking years. Even one case of an added name that was not identified. Why is it going to be a constant undercount? Because it's very difficult to find bodies in a city that is basically ash and rubble, okay? You would need teams of tens of thousands of professionals coming in and digging up the bodies for like 5 months. That's why it's going to be underreported. Because they can't report someone that's missing, quote unquote. Because if they do, Israel's immediately going to fucking scream, Hollywood or whatever they call it.
It made the difficult job of counting the dead in the middle of a genocide even harder. As of now, the official death count is around 61,000. Roughly half are women, children, or the elderly. The 61,000 figure by the Gazan Health Ministry, as discussed earlier, is certainly an undercount. An estimate last year by The Lancet said it was likely closer to 186,000. We can only guess what the real death count is today. So in a way, the Zionists are right. The death count is inaccurate because the number of dead is probably much, much higher.
I love how they shot this argument themselves. Like, ooh, why don't you go to Gaza? A bunch of people go to Gaza. No, you can't come to Gaza.
Argument is a favorite thinly veiled death threat that Zionists like to use against anyone who speaks up.
Thank you, Prio, for the 5 months, my friend. Thank you for the birthday gift. I really appreciate you.
For Palestine. I mean, just look at how precisely Israel is striking international aid workers at the World Central Kitchen. You don't think they're going to eagerly murder foreign activists going there? But despite the dangers, when pro-Palestine activists do want to break the genocidal death siege on Gaza, that, may I remind you, is starving the entire population to the extent that mothers can't even produce breast milk, which babies need for survival. Zionists suddenly switch up. Go to Gaza. Okay. I hope Israel murders you. This is... Go to Gaza. Okay. I hope Israel murders you.
Get it? It's red because it's blood. Get it? It's blood. It's funny.
This isn't even a hypothetical, by the way. The blockade on Gaza has tightened since 2007, with Israel strictly controlling who and what comes in and out to maintain it as an open-air prison. Activists have routinely tried to break the blockade and sail to Gaza with humanitarian aid, with one attempt in 2010 resulting in Israeli commandos murdering 10 activists and injuring dozens of others. Another attempt in 2018 resulted in activists being beaten, assaulted, and tasered. The most recent high-profile attempt this past June by Greta Thunberg and 11 other activists likely avoided being outright murdered because of the attention their fame brought them. So when the Israeli government mocks the Freedom Flotilla as a selfie yacht, what they're really complaining about is the fact that live streaming, documenting, and bringing international attention to famous activists trying to break the Gaza blockade prevented them from murdering his entire crew.
Greta is the greatest glow-up of the century, I swear to God. Greta's a based as fuck comrade.
Keep in mind, by the way, that all these ships were attacked and his crew kidnapped in international waters, which is illegal. We can only hope that Israel release the hostages. Ansar Allah, or the Houthis, are some of the only people in the world right now following international law and materially opposing the genocide on Gaza. They've imposed a blockade on Israel-related shipping in the Red Sea, enacting an economic cost on Israel. For doing the great crime of opposing a genocide, the Houthis have been smeared from every angle. These smears are quite easy to debunk. This documentary that supposedly proves the Houthis used slavery is actually about the previous Yemeni government. The idea that the Houthis are just pirates using the genocide as an excuse to steal from ships is dispelled by the fact that they stopped their blockade when the ceasefire was in place, and then resumed attacking ships when Israel violated the ceasefire and refused to allow aid into Gaza. And for that matter, what's wrong with being pirates against a genocide? Finally, this idea that the crew of the ships they attacked are still missing or haven't been seen is also nonsense. The Red Cross has repeatedly checked in on them, and during the brief ceasefire in January, they were later released. These smears are made because the Houthis, for all their other faults, are nevertheless one of the few parties willing to enforce the UN Charter on genocide and, you know, actually work to stop the genocide. In 2005, Israel withdrew settlers and forces from Gaza. The physical eviction of settlers was filmed for an international audience, painting Israel as doing all it can for the peace process. In exchange, the ungrateful Palestinians embraced terrorism and continued to reject peace. This narrative that...
Remember in the beginning, they're like, we left you alone in Gaza. Why didn't Gaza create entrepreneurs and tech startups? And instead, it created violent men carrying guns and attacking Israel proper. That was an actual argument. That was the main pitch. Like, if you leave the Arab hordes on their own, they will simply resolve to violent barbarism, while we, the established Zionists, create apps for computers. We have l'électricité. Oh, yeah. You make a startup in an open-air concentration camp, motherfucker, and then we're going to talk.
Israel already freed Gaza.
Also, is Israelis using an argument against another group of people for being unable to properly, quote-unquote, manage their state, while Israel quite literally would cease to exist if it didn't get free money from U.S. taxpayers every fucking day, is very rich, okay? Is very hilarious. Not to say hypocritical, okay?
is part of a long-running myth that Israel is in any way committed to peace. For one, the 2005 withdrawal was in no way an end to Israel's occupation of Gaza. Occupation as a term in international humanitarian law is not about whether the occupying force still has boots on the ground, but whether the occupying force still has effective control over the area. And yeah, even without settlers and military bases, Israel still controls Gaza's land crossings, airspace, territorial waters, declares certain areas in Gaza as no-go zones, and exercises the power to invade and arrest Palestinians in Gaza. Using this control, they restrict the movement of food, calorie counting the bare minimum Palestinians need to survive. The bureaucratic permitting process also restricts Gazans from studying abroad, getting necessary medical care, or leaving the Strip. The conditions are so bad, Gaza is famously called the world's largest open-air prison. So why did Israel withdraw settlers and military boots in 2005? Well, let's hear what a top aide to Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon had to say about it.
The significance of the disengagement plan is the freezing of the peace process. And wait, when what you the freeze fuck? Chat, my mouth is not moving, yet my voice, it's somehow saying something. Process, you prevent the establishment of a Palestinian state, and you prevent a discussion on the refugees, the borders, and Jerusalem. Effectively, this whole package called the Palestinian state, with all that it entails, has been removed indefinitely from our agenda.
So the 2000
that was weird. That was so strange. Getting jump scared by myself.
2005 withdrawal was basically a way to kill a Palestinian state and refocus efforts at annexing the West Bank. Whenever anyone opposed growing settlements in the West Bank, Israel could point to the image of poor Gazan settlers being evicted and say that they sacrificed so much for peace. In addition, the settlers themselves were posing problems, and evicting them allowed Israel to better lob missiles into Gaza without harming Israelis.
Yeah, that was the main reason.
They do. Nonviolent resistance is the first option Palestinians have historically used, but it's Israel that responds with disproportionate violence. In the West Bank, attending political gatherings of more than 10 people or displaying flags or symbols is punishable by up to 10 years. Meanwhile, in Gaza, the 2018 to 2019 Great March of Return was a grassroots protest that was overwhelmingly peaceful and unarmed. Demonstrators protested along the Gaza border wall, and in response, Israeli forces opened fire.
Of the 183 fatalities caused by sniper fire investigated by the UN Commission, 171 were clearly murdered, shot in the head or torso. Nearly 8,000 people were wounded by live ammunition. Over that 8-month period, 21 were left permanently paralyzed, and 122 more required limb amputations, including 20 children. In stark contrast, the UN report found 0 fatalities on the Israeli side.
It would be like Nazis saying that we left the Warsaw Ghetto and then they started attacking us for no reason. Yeah, absolutely. Another Warsaw Ghetto paralleled that very smart chatter. No, it was you again. No. Sorry, no. Another chatter said, can't find it now, but it's like, oh, can we get some data on the entrepreneurship rates of the Warsaw Ghetto? Like, did they develop AI applications or not?
Not one Israeli soldier was killed or seriously wounded.
Zionists love to complain about the lack of a Palestinian Gandhi, but they keep murdering all of them. This aggressive response to peaceful protests even extends to the international arena. The boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement is by definition peaceful, but it's been demonized as anti-Semitic and criminalized in some form in a majority of US states. The Make America Great Again folks sure won't like it when they realize all their politicians are actually bought and paid for by the Zionist lobby.
The way he fucking animates it, it's, oh lord, true artiste.
So what happens when all forms of peaceful resistance are violently suppressed? Obviously, people turn to violent resistance. And if people are caged into an open-air prison...
American patriots be like, I will not allow the Democrats to turn our country into a cuckold. I want Republicans to turn our country into a cuckold. I am a cuckold. I just prefer to be fucked by an elephant instead of a donkey.
For decades, massacred in routine assaults every few years, and denied the possibility of a better future, well, they'll do anything to break out of that prison. A common framing from liberal Zionists is that the problem is the Israeli government, not the Israeli people. Sometimes they go as far as to lay the blame only on Netanyahu, excusing other Israeli officials even if they've also been active architects of the genocide. So Netanyahu fired this guy.
Okay, I'm doing this. Wait. Right. I'm gonna be so petty about this. I'm so fucking petty. You know what I'm gonna do? Wait. The new... Oh, shit. The new spooky, scary socialist video has some of the best fucking the best visuals I've ever seen. Wait, do I have spooky? Scary. Does anybody know they're at? Spooky. Scary socialist. Does anybody know they're at? There we go. No, son of a bitch. Spooky socialist. Okay. Spooky socialist. The new spooky scary socialist. Let me do this. The new, oh God, X, why are you such a bad platform? Video has some of the best visuals I've ever seen. And then I'm gonna plug the video because I really want more people to watch it. The new spooky socialist video has some of the best visuals I've ever seen. Is this petty or is this petty? Am I petty? Because if you say yes, that is just encouragement, okay? Skulls of terrorists. Infants of Ramallah underneath. W? Is it a W post? Post to Blue Sky more. I should probably, shouldn't I? Petty King. Yas. Yas. Here we go. You know what to do, chat? You know what to do. Click that like button and click that retweet button. Be petty. New spooky socialist video has some of the best visuals I've ever seen on screen. Oh God, this should get their attention. Yes, you are petty proletariat. There we go. You know what to do, chat? These are rookie numbers. Only 10 fucking likes in what? A whole minute? Stupid sexy Hassan. Immediately somebody just masturbating to Hassan. Fantastic. That's chat. You get one. You get one. We all get one. But are you ready for 1,000 Instagram stories about you? He can't touch me on anything. Okay, anyways. Back to... Oh my God. Legendary.
Officials, even if they've also been active architects of the genocide. So Netanyahu fired this guy, Gazan Obliterator 69, a really good guy. He was a moderating voice in the government, especially when he said, wow, what a voice of moral clarity. Isn't that right, babe? Supermajorities.
Oh my God, he's just, oh my God, he's, dude, ultimate shitbag leftist behavior. We're using their tools against them. I'm tired of repeating myself. So Ethan is constantly like, don't call me a wife guy. And what Spooky does in this video is he makes him a wife guy zombie. I mean, humor sometimes should really be in your face like this, okay? There is no words being spared here, literally.
Clarity. Isn't that right, babe? Supermajorities of the Israeli public have consistently shown support for the genocide. In February of this year, a poll found approximately 7 out of 10 Israelis supported ethnically cleansing Gazans.
Hugo was the first to reply to your tweet. Thank you for your service, my friend.
The point of contention was whether ethnic cleansing was practical or not. Another poll from last March found 82% of Jewish Israelis supported expulsion, and 47% supported killing all Palestinians in Gaza outright. Even beyond Gaza, a majority of Jewish Israelis support expelling Palestinian citizens within Israel. Don't just take my word for it, listen to what Israelis were saying even before October 7th.
I'm seeing that we need to... איך אומרים לאיש בערבית? כן, תגידי לי את המילה הזאת.
I don't think there's any answer to it. There's only one way, like, I would carpet bomb them.
You would carpet bomb them?
It's the only way you could deal with it.
They took it
They took this
This is such a classic.
land, and this is our land now, and I don't think there should be here no Arabs.
This isn't to say that brave
Literal New Jersey accent, bro.
anti-Zionist and anti-genocide Israelis don't exist. There are certainly courageous individuals who, for example, act as shield for Palestinians being beaten by racist mobs. But according to anti-Zionist Israelis themselves, they're a tiny minority within an overwhelmingly genocidal society. The problem isn't Netanyahu or a few bad apples in the Israeli government. The problem runs much deeper and much longer, long before. All the arguments I've addressed so far have been primarily pushed in response to October 7th. But if we start
This is a really good argument that needs to be repeated all the time. That, you know, not everything started on October 7th. It allows for the humanization of the armed resistance by Palestinians in the eyes of many, because it contextualizes what motivates a person to pick up arms and fight against the whole state, which in the case of the Palestinian resistance fighters is the fact that they live in a fascist apartheid settler colonial system, and they've been living in it since they've known about life, since they've been born. So yeah, it's a very good point, and a point that I like to remind people of as often as possible. Because when somebody understands a grander context of why somebody picked up a gun, it makes it very difficult for them to dehumanize them. And to humanize a Palestinian is unfortunately something we need to do because of just how dehumanized they've been because of Hasbara and the overarching influence of Israel over, well, our whole attitude about not just Palestinians, but the whole region.
And with October 7th, that would be tacitly accepting a frame that Zionists themselves push, that on October 7th, Hamas terrorists massacred over 1,200 Israelis for no reason other than that they hate Jews. For a lot of Zionists, October 7th justifies everything.
Don't cry about a war you couldn't finish.
They say while running to their bomb shelters after unilaterally bombing Iran. But where did Gaza come from? Where did Hamas come from? And why did Palestinian resistance fighters have to break out of these walls that just randomly happen to be there? Gaza is a tiny strip of land, slightly more than 2% of the land mass.
Gonna take a piss. I leave you in capable hands.
To Palestine. It's 25 miles long and around 6 miles wide and one of the most densely populated places in the world. The reason it's so densely populated goes back to 1947 and 1948, to the founding of Israel.
Hey, I was going to take a shit, but now you raid me, Celticness. What the fuck? Because a man can't even shit over here. Thank you very much for the raid. Thank you very much, Celticness. Everybody immediately go and give a follow to our dear friend of the show. Thank you for the raid. Welcome in, everyone. We are literally debunking every Zionist argument ever. Literally, like actually literally. A new video by Spooky Scary Socialist. We are being petty over on. We're being very petty, very petite. We're being very petite over on Twitter, and we're having a grand old time talking about some of the worst shit ever. Okay. If that's something they're interested in, stick around. And if anybody was planning on giving me more birthday gifts in the form of subscriptions, now would be the time to do that, because you will make our beautiful raiders feel very, very welcome. So thank you very much, Celticness, one more time.
For decades before 1947,
oh my god, this picture, and immediately switch back to this picture. Fucking legendary.
the Zionist movement had built up support from the British
New York Yugo sounds fucking crazy. Yeah?
Empire to take over the land of Palestine and build a Jewish state. The problem was, of course, that Palestine already had inhabitants, Palestinians, who didn't want to be displaced.
It was my birthday yesterday. Yes, my friend. Thank you very much, my friend.
From their own homes. By 1947 to 48, however, the Zionist movement solved this problem with one easy trick: ethnic cleansing. They simply ruthlessly kicked out Palestinians, demolished Palestinian villages, and pushed them all into
subscribe and watch and listen.
West Bank and Gaza Strip.
I'll be thinking about you while I piss. I'm checking chat. I'm holding my dick in one hand and I'm checking chat in the other hand. Okay.
Territories after the 1967 war and enforced increasingly harsh repression over the decades. In the West Bank, Israel has established settlements that are recognized internationally as illegal in preparation for full annexation. Gaza, meanwhile, suffers from a blockade tightened by Israel since 2007 while being routinely massacred in mowing the grass operations. Conditions in Gaza have only deteriorated. 71% of the population are refugees, 81% live below the poverty line, 64% are food insecure, and nearly half are children. This is all according to the Israeli government's plan, of course. They had long adopted a policy of divide and conquer, supporting Hamas in Gaza and the Palestinian Authority the West Bank to ensure Palestinians remained politically divided, impoverished, and desperate. The story of Israel-Palestine is the age-old story of settler colonialism. Zionists ethnically cleansed Palestinians from their land, occupied the remaining territories, and kept them in a state of political division and desperation. As Netanyahu said, "We control the height of the flames." October 7th exposed that they did not, in fact, control the height of the flames. October 7th was not a burst of inexplicable terrorism. It was the inevitable result of dispossessing, besieging, occupying, and colonizing a people for decades. Now that we're moving beyond the October 7th framework into broader arguments, the stereotypical of Israel-Palestine is that the conflict is a 1,000-year-old clash of civilizations between Jews and Muslims who both hold claims to the same land. For many Americans influenced by Islamophobia, they see all Muslims as terrorists, so it's easy to choose which side to support in this eternal fight. But the conflict is not an eternal religious conflict, but a modern colonial one.
Whenever somebody contextualizes a modern conflict under the basis of they cannot coexist because they come from two different religions, it is either somebody who literally does not understand geopolitics or history, like an unironic fucking stupid motherfucker, okay? It's extremely common in my part of the world, for example. Everybody's like, Yugoslavia fell apart because you can't have Orthodox Christians, Catholics, and Muslims living in one country. But they did for half a century. The fuck? No, right? It's fucking idiotic. Or just a reactionary person that de facto believes in the idea that at some point one religion needs to dominate all others, and that is the only way we're going to achieve lasting peace. It's somebody who believes in segregation based on a belief system. It's somebody who inherently believes even in ethno-nationalism. Just, with instead of ethno, with the religious category being utilized. It is inherently, absolutely reactionary.
Crazy hamburger!
It is inherently 100% reactionary to believe that you get to create a country that is ethnically pure, but in the same way that is religiously pure. There is no space for that type of pitch inside of communist circles. Okay? Absolutely no space. Thank you very much, Joel, for the subscription and for the 10 birthday gifts, my friend. Thank you very, 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 very much. You are too kind. Thank you very much. Oh, shit. Did I close the door? Fuck. It's closed. Sorry, the woman was coming in. Didn't want to face reveal her. What's up, woman? Woman? Hi. Oh, she says hi. Okay. Thank you, Joel, for another subby. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Joel. I really appreciate all the birthday gifts.
Zionism proper began in the mid-19th century. The first Zionist conference was in 1897, and Israel itself was established in 1948. KFC, microwaves, rocket ships, Nintendo, Joe Biden, Donald Trump are all older than the state of Israel. What talking points like this do is obscure the nature of the conflict. It's not an age-old religious battle between Muslims and Jews. In fact, the land of Palestine was historically a multi-religious society, with Muslims, Jews, and Christians all living together during Ottoman rule.
Don't all religions think they're the true one and everyone else should serve them? The shades of gray come in. How many of those people actually literally believe it? Don't most people that come from particular cultures as well believe that theirs is superior to others because theirs is the one that they are most in tune with, because that's the culture they grew up in, so they're going to always have inherent biases towards other cultures? Yes. But can we have a country that takes that borderline metaphysic, feelings over facts mentality and turn it into and systemize it and make it a part of the quote-unquote constitution? A country only for this culture, or a country only for this people, or a country only for this religious category, etc., etc. No, we can't. Obviously, identities of all sorts are going to come to clashes because they are somewhat different, and that is okay. That is the beauty of the beautiful rainbow of the human existence. But once one of those groups quite literally takes possession of governing systems and makes the country only about them, what they believe or what they identify as or what they or what their ethnicity is or whatever, then we have a problem. Then we have an inherently reactionary, exclusionary concept. Then we have a reactionary nationalism, if it's ethnicity or other shit. Okay, I think you understand me. We allow these metaphysical biases to manifest as material reality in the system of governance in place. That is anti-dialectical. That is an anti-dialectical materialism. That is no. That is regressing. At 100%. End of conversation. Because a lot of people will give you like a borderline progressive picture, like, people like deserve their own like little space, and yes, they do, but they don't get to actively kick someone out. They don't get to actively define what is a normal and regular citizen or what is not a normal and regular citizen based on their ethnicity, culture, gender, or fucking religion. If you believe that, you might not actually be a communist, with all due respect, because you do not put material analysis first in front of your vision of the world.
What Zionism did was claim that the entire land, already populated with a thriving, multi-religious Arab society, belonged entirely to Jewish people. To pursue that goal, Zionists settled mostly European Jews and ethnically cleansed their indigenous inhabitants of Palestine. Decades of dispossession, violence, denial of basic human rights, and now outright genocide were and are necessary to ensure that an originally Arab society became settled and replaced with a Jewish supremacist ethno-state. This, of course, happened in the last 100 years, hardly an internal conflict. To quote from the Israeli historian Ilhan Pape,
"The last paradox is that the tale of Palestine, from the beginning until today, is a simple story of colonialism and dispossession. Yet, the world treats it as a multifaceted and complex story."
Come on, chat. Come on, test your parasocial abilities. Do you recognize whose voice this is?
Hard to understand and even harder to solve. Indeed,
Bestie Marks, there we go. Chiraki, I like you. Welcome to the community.
The story of Palestine has been told before. European settlers coming to a foreign land, settling there, and either committing genocide against or expelling the...
Bess is also Balkan. I'm not sure I'm allowed to say what ethnicity. Bess, I believe, lives somewhere in Western Europe, but Bess is also Balkan. We have me, we have Alexa from Boy Boy, and we have Bess. Like, we're supposed to be the world's most unhinged reactionaries, yet we produce people like this.
indigenous people. The Zionists have not invented anything new in this respect, but Israel succeeded nonetheless, with the help of its allies everywhere, in building a multi-layered explanation that is so complex that
Balkan Odyssey, don't even get me started. Yeah, Balkan Odyssey as well.
Only Israel can understand it. Any interference from the outside world is immediately castigated as naive at best, or anti-Semitic at worst.
Despite most of them not being religious, the earliest Zionists realized that the Bible was a convenient justification to colonize Palestine. Turns out you can get away with a lot when the big guy...
Literally, Hugo, I'm not sure I can say where he lives, because that might be, problematic. Immediately all of chat. Oh, Switzerland, yeah, lives in Switzerland. Switzerland. It's okay. Like, I don't think Bess would mind. I mean, where he's from originally, as the racists say it.
Guy upstairs is okay with it. According to this logic, the Jewish people were promised the land of Palestine 3,000 years ago, and so it's actually okay to ethnically cleanse Palestinians. There are a few problems with this, of course, namely that you can't just steal someone's home by saying God promised me this home 3,000 years ago. I mean, every colonial movement has justified colonization in one way or the other by saying God promised me this land. But beyond that obvious point, the early Zionists looked at alternative places to colonize and create a Jewish state. Theodor Herzl, the father of modern Zionism, considered Uganda, areas in North and South of America, and Azerbaijan. You're really telling me that God promised Uganda to the Jewish people 3,000 years ago? A common argument from Zionists is that it's not settler colonialism. Actually, they say, Zionism can't be colonialism because the Jewish people were there first. They were exiled by the Romans, and Israel is simply a national liberation. No, a decolonization movement, returning Jewish people to their homeland. See that settler from New York stealing a Palestinian home in the West Bank? This is what decolonization looks like. The most obvious counter-argument is that the founders of Zionism themselves openly said that they wanted
If I don't take it, who's gonna take it over here?
to colonize Palestine. Labeled themselves as colonizers, wrote that they wanted to expel the indigenous Palestinians by force, and made friends with some of the biggest colonizers of their time. Then after World War II, when colonization became a dirty word, Zionism rebranded it. It's now unfashionable to talk about Zionism as colonialism. But aren't Jewish people indigenous to the land of Palestine? The Romans kicked them out, and Zionism is simply returning the descendants of this Jewish diaspora to their rightful homeland. Now I could go the route of deconstructing this historical Zionist argument, that multiple genetic studies show that Palestinians and Israelis share common ancestry, that there's no evidence of a mass Roman exile of Jewish people, that many lower-class Jewish people stayed in the land, converting to Christianity, then Islam following their Arab conquest in the 7th century, and that, as Shlomo Sand concludes, many Palestinians today are likely descendants of ancient Judeans. But let's put all that aside and pretend everything about the Zionist historical narrative is true. So what? Just because your ancestors supposedly lived in the land thousands of years ago gives you justification to ethnically cleanse the people currently living the land today?
Even sometimes it's very funny to see Christians being fucking silent on this when there's very likely Palestinian families that are still alive today that have a direct line with genetic line, like family tree, connected to people that, if Jesus existed, would have seen him with their own two eyes, right? You have, unironically, the OG Christians, the most OG Christians, the Christians where Christ went, yo, this thing like forgiveness and shit and like stuff, let's do it like a religion, bro. Like the OG Christians are also what today we define as Palestinian, living in those lands, and yet you support Zionists killing the descendants of unironic OG Christians. This is all argumentation made under the presupposition that Jesus exists, which I don't know if he exists. That's on you. Thank you, Joel, one more time for the gift sub.
It's a ridiculous argument. Do the Italians deserve the right to colonize the lands of the entire former Roman Empire because their ancestors lived there in the past? Indigeneity isn't about who lived on a land thousands of years ago. It's a relationship imposed by colonialism. The indigenous colonized who are dispossessed versus the colonizer who dispossesses. And when you're actively displacing people, murdering them, stealing their homes, bulldozing their towns, and committing a genocide, you are the colonizer.
It's basically like it's not an argument about, like, metaphysics of who is more connected to the land, who is more rooted, Avatar shit or whatever. No, it's like, yo, there's people there already. You can't just come and kick them out of their houses and then live in them. That's the discussion about, at its core. Let's be realistic here, right? At its core, that's what the discussion about nativity is. You don't get to come and take other people's shit because that's whack and weird and stupid. Not Avatar, connected to the roots of the whatever the fuck shit, right? Even though I respected, the whole conversation. It's pretty, it's nice, but that's not where the argument stems from. The argument stems from, don't steal other people's shit. It sucks.
At least the early Zionists had the courtesy to embrace the term. The problem with this argument is that Zionism and efforts to colonize Palestine, as I talked about before, long predate
Yeah, I wanted to watch a Tucker Carlson interview. It looks very, very interesting, ironically.
the Holocaust. But even ignoring that, why should Palestinians pay the price for a European genocide they had nothing to do with? Does suffering through persecution justify persecuting random other people? Many settler colonial projects were started by people who were persecuted. Some of the first American...
Every single fascist movement has used the argument of we have suffered, but now we need to be tough and we will annihilate anybody who even looks at us wrong. A pitch. Every fascist movement ever. Israel didn't invent this. This is very classic fascist behavior.
colonizers were Puritans fleeing persecution in England. Liberia was colonized by former enslaved Africans in the Americas. Persecution doesn't give you a get out of settler colonialism for free card, and suffering through a genocide certainly doesn't give you free reign to commit a genocide. Israel is objectively the least safe place for Jewish people right now, and has been the only place where Jewish people have been killed in large numbers since its founding in 1948. Because obviously, if your society is built on ethnic cleansing, dispossession, and terror of another people, the people you're terrorizing will resist regardless of who their oppressors are. This is why the idea that Palestinians are uniquely anti-Semitic falls flat. If your home was stolen from you and you've been stripped of basic necessities to live a peaceful life, you would fight back regardless if you're—
Yeah, you will hate the group of people who kicked you out of your home. They can be fucking space aliens, or they can be one very specific ethnic category. It doesn't matter. Your hatred is towards someone who is mistreating you, not towards their belief system. Sure, does it eventually evolve into hating them as a whole because of what has been done upon you? Happens sometimes, sure. Is it understandable? To a very large degree, yes.
Your oppressors were Christian Europeans like in the United States, French like in Algeria, or pathetic losers like in Rhodesia.
That was edgy.
Israel was founded on the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians in 1947-48, which displaced around 750,000 of them in the Nakba, or catastrophe. The fact that Zionists ethnically cleansed Palestinians is a bit inconvenient for their narrative, so they do their best to find excuses for what they did. A common historical argument is that actually the Palestinians voluntarily left because Arab leaders told them to. They would leave, the Arab leaders would invade, kick out the Israelis, and then the Palestinians would return. The problem is, there's no evidence for any of this. Source? I made it up. So, the Zionists aren't off to a good start here. But okay, what if the Palestinians weren't ethnically cleansed, but actually just fleeing a war? I mean, the Israeli War of Independence involved a brave Zionist military fighting off 7 Arab armies. This too is a myth. The first stage of the Nakba occurred before the intervention of Arab armies, starting on November 30th, 1947, with about 300,000 Palestinians displaced from massacres and devastation wrought by Zionist forces against Palestinian cities. The Arab armies, of which there were really only 5 mostly poorly equipped forces, intervened only after news of these initial massacres. After they were defeated, another 400,000 Palestinians were expelled. So even before the Arab armies waged war, the Zionists were already ethnically cleansing Palestinians. Okay, so they weren't told to leave by their leaders or were refugees of war, but what if they actually deserved it? The final and most desperate argument Zionists—
I love how works-cited is just a Israeli crack pipe.
were refugees of war, but what if they actually deserved it? The final and most desperate argument Zionists tried to make is that the Nakba was a retaliatory ethnic cleansing. See, the Arab countries ethnically cleansed Jews around the same time, so it's only fair the Zionists ethnically cleanse Palestinians. So there's a few things wrong with—
If you were kicked out and then left alone, you might have diplomacy as an answer. I don't know, but if you're continuously subjugated, there's not much to do but try to fight back. That is the story of the Palestinian people. Like 50 years of fucking diplomacy. Unironically, always trying to go the legal route, always appealing to Israeli humanity, and always rejected. Nobody in their right mind, except literal fucking mass like psychos, goes for the gun as their primary and first choice. Okay, because nobody wants to get shot at, which is something that happens when you pick up a gun. But there's more motivation for you to pick up a gun as a Palestinian, because the main minus of picking a gun, being shot at, you're already receiving even when you're not picking up a gun, because the Israelis will fucking shoot you even if you're not carrying a fucking gun. So in both of the situations, you're being shot at, but in one, you can shoot back. Oh, I wonder why motherfuckers be picking up guns. Whoa.
With this logic, first, Palestinians are not Egyptians, Syrians, or any other Arab country. They had nothing to do with Jewish expulsions in these countries, and in fact called for their return. Second, Jewish expulsions and flights from Arab countries occurred over many decades and were in fact stoked by Israel. In Yemen, Israel bribed and convinced local rulers to deport Jews to Israel, sometimes even kidnapping their children. Moroccan Jews were kidnapped by force in a deal between French colonial authorities and the Jewish Agency. In Iraq, the Mossad launched false flags to terrorize Iraqi Jews into leaving the country. Israel ethnically cleansed Palestinians and then stoked the expulsion of Jews from surrounding countries to build up its Jewish ethno-state. This was not a tit-for-tat situation where one group expelled the other, but one long continuous project of Zionist ethnic supremacy. So there's this clip from this racist US president accused of sexual—
Oh my god, so petty, I love it.
assault and associated with Epstein that captures the sentiment of this talking point perfectly. Bill Clinton.
And all they know is...
Oh, man, dude. This video is a 10 out of 10. If you already haven't gone to the video and clicked like, you're an absurd excuse for a human being. Okay? Thank you.
A lot more Palestinians have been killed than Israelis. And I tell them what Arafat walked away from. And they can't believe it. I said, oh yeah, he walked away from a Palestinian state with a capital in East Jerusalem, 96% of the West Bank, 4% of Israel. You walk away from these once in a lifetime.
Oh, they did it to themselves. Okay, let's.
Peace opportunities. And you can't complain 25 years later when the doors weren't all still open and all the possibilities weren't still there. You can't do it. It's just...
Yeah, you heard that right. Palestinians may be going through a genocide right now, but they have no right to complain. Children dying. The most important thing that died was this deal I tried to make. William Clinton's genocidal narcissism aside, is it true that Camp David offered Palestinians a state and that they ungratefully rejected it? No, of course not. Israeli Prime Minister Rabin literally said they were offering less than a state to the Palestinians. The proposed Palestinian quote-unquote state would not have control over its economic policy, foreign policy, no control over its airspace, have 3 permanent Israeli military installations, and Israel would be allowed to invade the area at any...
Yeah, they offered absolutely no security guarantees whatsoever. Nobody would sign that deal because it wasn't a deal. They were laughing in their face. They were like, okay, this Arafat guy, a lot of people fucking love him now, and it's like, oh, the tide is shifting against Israel when it comes to international PR. So let's give them a deal that obviously they will reject, but we can at least say that we've given them a deal. So that Bill Clinton, 50 years later, can literally sit there and be like, oh, we offered those goddamn Arabs a piece of their country back to them, and they refused. And now your kid should die. Your kid, that little 5-year-old, Teta. Okay, you did this to yourself. Literal fucking demons.
Any time. This wouldn't be self-determination, but rather a continuation of occupation by a different name. Of course, famous respecter of consent and autonomy Bill Clinton would still be complaining about someone saying no decades later. A foundational Israeli myth is that Palestine was a land without a people for a people without a land. Palestinians, in fact, don't exist. They're all just Arabs or transient people or simply made up by anti-Semites who hate Israel.
Or subscribers of Ugopnik Twitch, who for $6 a month free through Prime can avoid the ad is going to play and also buy me a birthday gift. It was my birthday yesterday. My girlfriend gave me a 7-day trip to China, Beijing. But China's expensive. So all of your subscription will go towards me eating very good Chinese food and maybe streaming me eating very good Chinese food as we walk through Tiananmen Square in 4K. So subscribe, buy me gifts, and I will use them in China. Basically, you're giving it to a communist to give to a bunch of communists. It's incredible. Thank you, Fringe, for the biddies.
With a Thanos snap of their finger.
Ad plays if we had ads in exactly 3 minutes.
Zionists have solved the conflict. You can't be committing a genocide against people who don't exist. This, of course, is obviously wrong. For one, we can see Palestinians and their long ties to the land. The land between the Mediterranean Sea and Jordan River has been called Palestine for over 3,000 years. Before Zionists settled the land, Palestine was a thriving, multi-religious, culturally rich society from exposure to the wider Ottoman Empire. Predominantly rural, but increasingly urban, Palestinians were already developing a nationalist conscience under the Ottomans. Zionist settlers didn't make the desert bloom. Instead, they stole the land of other people, already thriving with indigenous wildlife and crops, planted highly flammable invasive trees, and made the desert bloom with wildfires. The existence of Palestinians is inconvenient to the Zionist narrative, that people lived on the land that they're currently settling. What happened to those people? Well, they've been ethnically cleansed to increasingly smaller strips of land, deprived of human dignity, and now suffer through an ongoing genocide. Zionists not only want to deny Palestinians of their land and their lives, but of their history as well.
Oh, my favorite.
Communism has never...
this video is played at if a communist goes to hell, if hell exists and a communist goes to hell, like this face is like engraved in front of every communist who is in hell, and it's played on loop. It just played on loop forever. That is communist hell. This video on loop forever.
Worked except in this place. Communism has never worked except in this place. Communism has never worked except in this place. Communism has never worked except in this place.
There you go. That's hell for a communist, but this continues for like 1,000 millennia, non-stop, forever. Okay? There you go. That's hell. So be good. Call your mom and water your plants. Because if you don't,
Communism has never worked except in this place.
Okay, that's it. Communism cancelled. I was okay with Stalin and Mao, but Israel, this has gone too far. So the argument goes that Israeli kibbutzim are examples of communist utopias. Kibbutz are basically
A community of people who share everything. They share the cars, they share the common spaces, and they even share
their wives.
businesses.
Everything belongs to everyone.
So if you support socialism or communism, then you should support Israel and its kibbutzim. This of course ignores the fact that they're built on destroyed Palestinian villages, deliberately formed to exclude Palestinian labor, and established to promote ethnic supremacy. The kibbutz originated from a time in Israel when there was at least an undercurrent of left-wing thought with movements like labor Zionism or socialist Zionism. But as Israel has become increasingly fanatical in its ethnic cleansing alongside the rise of religious Zionism, the Israeli population and government have become more and more far-right, culminating into what we have today, a people in government fully behind a genocide against the Palestinian people. This type of talking point is to try to virtue signal to progressives outside Israel, saying, hey, if you're a leftist, you should really support our project of ethnic cleansing. Another talking point like this is the classic
Thank you very much, Astro J, for the 5 gifties, the 5 birthday gifts. Thank you very much, again.
Okay, let's go through the list of Palestinians in Israel, the West Bank, and Gaza. So in Israel, Palestinian citizens are barred from purchasing roughly 90% of the land, excluded from the right of return, and their political participation is limited.
Have you seen recently CNN posted a video interviewing pastors, the pastor that influences Pete Hegseth? Yeah. Who are against women voting and being essentially baby factories, and they treated them like it's a normal position for a human being to have. Yeah, it's the interviewer was a little bit baffled, obviously, by the conversation, but that is what in these circles we like to call a clerofascist. Okay, there's a word for it. Utilizing a religious belief as a cudgel for hate and the dehumanization of particular parts of your population in order to develop a reactionary, authoritative model of governance. So yeah, clerofascists, yeah. Yo, what's your priest like? Oh, mine is pretty chill. We read the commandments and stuff. How's yours like? Oh, mine wants me to own my wife and forbid her from voting. Oh, amazing. Where do I sign up? Oh, Lord.
By vaguely
we watched it.
word laws that end up disqualifying Palestinian candidates for simply advocating for equality. In addition, because they're exempt from service in the IDF, Palestinian citizens in Israel are severely restricted from receiving government assistance as workers, students, parents, couples, and face barriers to housing and employment, with 70% of the Israeli industry close to them. In the illegally occupied West Bank, things are even worse. Palestinians are under military law, subject to being randomly kidnapped, tortured, and beaten by Israeli soldiers for unspecified amounts of time. Meanwhile, their homes can straight up be stolen or blocked off, and violent settler mobs can beat you up with the tacit support of the Israeli military. Apartheid is so open in the West Bank, there are literal Arab-only and Israeli-only roads. And Gaza, of course, has been subject to a genocidal siege for over a decade and now suffers through an open genocide by the Zionist entity, whether relegating Palestinians to second-class citizenship, subjecting them to draconian military rule, or openly massacring them. The debate shouldn't be whether or not Israel is a democracy, but what type of non-democracy it is. Ethnocracy, apartheid state, settler colonialism, take your pick. Zionists, much like their segregated Arab-only and Israeli-only rows in the West Bank, love to segregate acceptable and non-acceptable phrases for the pro-Palestine movement. The no-no phrases are bad, acceptable and non-
From the river, globalize the Intifada, unalive to the IDF, and then dum-dum-dum-dum-dum, dum-dum-dum-dum-dum, the 3 horses of the liberal apocalypse, dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. Sorry, I don't know why I did that.
Non-acceptable phrase.
It was fucking cringe as shit.
For the pro-Palestine movement. The no-no phrases are bad, anti-Semitic, and, dare I say, genocidal. Of course, not actually genocidal in terms of the genocide being carried out against Gaza, but like hypothetically genocidal, which is worse. One of these phrases is, "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free," basically calling for a free Palestine from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea. According to Zionists, this phrase is genocidal because it's calling for the genocide of Jewish Israelis from the river to the sea. Of course, what it's really saying is, freedom from the river to the sea, which means the end of occupation, apartheid, and the genocide currently being carried out. Zionists are really letting the cat out of the bag by saying it as it is, that freedom is incompatible with the Israeli project. Of course, like Zionists do, they steal this.
Or it was just a really, really good slogan, and they're like, oh my fucking god, that slogan is so fucking good. I can't believe we didn't think of that. From the river to the sea, Israel will be free. God fucking damn it, man. Okay. Hey, ADL, we have another thing that is now supposed to be anti-Semitic.
Palestinian call for freedom for themselves, and when they say it, they do mean it in a genocidal way, and not just hypothetically too, because they're actually also doing a genocide right now. Another no-no phrase, according to Zionists, is globalized intifada, which is allegedly a call to terrorism against Jewish people. See, how this works is that intifada...
Oh no, I'm gonna globalize my food. I'm globalizing so hard right now, I'm gonna globalize my intifada.
Intifada is an Arabic word, and Arabic is obviously a scary terrorist language, and anyone who uses it must also be a scary terrorist.
Intifada. Globalized.
Intifada.
Globalized.
We serve.
Intifada, of course, is just an Arabic word that means uprising. The Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, for example, translates to the Warsaw Ghetto Intifada. And despite the US Holocaust Museum denouncing the phrase, they themselves used Intifada on their website a few years ago. It's only now, when Zionists have all decided the word goes to the no-no segregation zone, did they scrub it out. And that's the thing with Zionists. They not only smear you, spread genocidal misinformation, and lie, but now they also try to police acceptable language, as if the ones committing a genocide deserve a say in how the opponents of that genocide express their opposition. Why do the feelings of Zionists matter more than the lives of Palestinians who are actively being massacred?
Beep boop. Lazy Zionist arguments detected. Initiating speed round debunking.
No. Good. No, it doesn't. But what if you were gay in Gaza? John Fetterman? Get out of here. Shoo, shoo.
Literally a compilation from my video. I fucking love it.
Wonderful. A new child
did you see the video of Eric Adams fucking up Intifada? Oh my god, he's gonna fuck that Intifada so hard. What? Yeah, the way he says it.
Do you think that Mamdani is an anti-Semite?
Yes, I do. I think that when you're in the streets, after what we saw took place on October 7th, when you're in the street either the next day or days later and don't immediately denounce it, when you're unwilling to talk about global infidada.
Zohran is out in the streets fighting for the global infatida, while Eric Adams is in the airports having sex with women who are not his wife. Those two are not the same. Thank you, Joel, for another gifty. Thank you very kindly, my friend. 1 away from 100 and 20 away from today's goal. Every subscription means more flights taken by the former mayor. Octopussy 7th11. Octopussy 7th11. Oh.
3 months of prison, or shoot a toddler in the head.
This is so good.
Or shoot a toddler in the head. Israel is a settler colonial state built on a logic of expansion. For decades, Zionists have dreamed not only of occupying Gaza, the West Bank, and East Jerusalem, but also parts of Egypt, Syria, Lebanon, and Jordan in a greater Israel. And right now, it's pursuing that dream not only by committing genocide against Gaza, but also waging war on its neighbors. What supporters of the two-state solution fail to understand is that the land from the river to the sea is already under the control of one state, Israel. Israel has increasingly made the two states
100. Congratulations, chatters. Very close to today's daily goal. Thank you, Joel. Thank you very much. Joel fucking carrying today. Joel carrying you, chat. Carrying you hard.
The river to the sea is already under the control of one state, Israel. Israel has increasingly made the two-state solution impossible. Netanyahu himself brags about it. They've increased settlements in the West Bank, already have plans to settle Gaza, and now want to expand the borders of Israel by taking more and more land. That's the thing with colonialism. It's never enough. Even if it means committing a genocide live-streamed in front of the whole world, dragging the entire region into war, and constructing a mountain of corpses, Israel will continue to act with impunity as long as Western governments and the international community continue to do nothing, or worse, actively aid and abet its crimes against humanity. Within Israel, there's no political will for a two-state solution. Remember the alleged peace deal Bill Clinton touted that, in reality, only gave the Palestinians a sham state with no real sovereignty? The Israeli prime minister who started negotiation efforts on that was 360 no-scope by a Zionist terrorist who thought that giving the Palestinians even the
Yeah, that's a pretty crazy story as well. Thank you, Aich, very much for the Prime sub. Welcome to the community, and thank you for the birthday gift, my boy.
Tiniest
or girl or MB.
Breadcrumb was too much. The idea of a two-state solution gets paraded every once in a while, like Weekend at Biden's, but it's a farce. On the ground, there isn't any hope of a two-state solution, and there hasn't been for a long time. So, what's the solution? It's simple: ending colonization, apartheid, and the continued dispossession of Palestinians. If we have to advocate for a solution, we should advocate for the one that dismantles, once and for all, the colonialism that serves as the foundation of the conflict.
Literally that simple. It is that simple. What is this? RXK nephew John Fetterman? What? Hello, I forgot to say so goodbye to everyone in chat.
Wonder. Got a bald head, John Fetterman. Walk in, get lit at a Democrat party. Get a bitch pregnant at a Republican party. Call Fetterman, dad got fentanyl on Miley. Who the fuck you think you is? Who the hell you thought you was? Nigga bought a church in Pennsylvania off his family drugs. Nigga, you like 6'8". White man can't jump to this day. All your advice is dead dirt. My samples that don't make you dance break. We still trafficking through PA. My dogs in Philly got switches for days. I feel like Neff Ketterman. I feel like Neff Fetty Whiteman. I feel like Neff Slitherman. My dope hit like Rob Van Dam. All Auntie said was God damn. Tell Fetterman he can suck my dick. I take that back. I don't want him to do that. Mexican and jump the border. I'ma buy an eighth, turn it to a quarter. Fetterman Neff for traffic your daughter. It's a ransom. Free food stamps. She my type. Only fans and food stamps. Treat my trap like a boot camp. This random dope we don't do stamps. Got a BBL, that shit stank. Hit it once, set on top rank. Off the Remy, they ain't have my drink. Neff Fetterman doing what they can't. Got a ball head, John Fetterman. Walk in, get lit at a Democrat party. Get a bitch pregnant at a Republican party. Call Fetterman, dad got fentanyl on Miley. Who the fuck you think you is? Who the hell you thought you was? Nigga bought a church in Pennsylvania off his family drugs. Nigga, you like 6'8". White man can't jump to this day. All your advice is dead dirt. My samples that don't make you dance break. We still trafficking through PA. My dogs in Philly got switches for days. I feel like Neff Ketterman. I feel like Neff Fetty Whiteman.
It is very good. Thank you, Falls Kakaroto, for the 15 months. Fucking legend.
Hey, buddy, did you hear the news?
And hello everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, and we may have found the best diss track of 2025, and it's come from a
Oh wow, oh my god, even Fantano reviewed it. Hell yeah, my progressive king. Knowing that he's platforming it really hard because he agrees with the politics. That's how we do it, baby. Yeah, man. Fucking communist nepotism. Let's fucking go.
Pretty unlikely place, although maybe not so much. Listen, I'm going to start off this video by saying I apologize. This is the first time on this channel that I am speaking of RXK Nephew, an insanely prolific rap artist that has been taking the internet by storm, the underground anyway, over the last several years. And the guy has just been building up an insane body of work since about 2020. Albums, mixtapes, EPs, singles. The guy is just constantly dropping stuff, and you know, while there is most definitely a quantity over quality dynamic going on here, you can't really deny that the guy has an attention-grabbing style with these sort of very loose, offbeat, nearly spoken flows with which he displays an absolutely insane sense of humor. Flows with which
unsubscribe me and don't buy my music. My side bitch beat my main bitch up. Now my side bitch is my main bitch. Gert Slytherman can rap better than these dudes. Slytherman can do double entendres. Slytherman got better hooks. Slytherman sing better than Tory Lanez. Slytherman got more dance moves than Usher. Silverboot, thank you very much for the subscription. Who is this fucking legend, and how did I not know about RXK before? RXK nephew. RXK nephew. Thank you very much, Silverboot. Welcome to the community, my friend. Slytherman versus nephew. Critical. Free Palestine. There we go. What does BBL even mean?
I don't even like this beat. Fuck you got all this BBL. You niggas knew that nigga had a BBL, man.
Oh my god, fucking G-Man. I don't even like this beat. He's the musical version of international best-selling author Quan Mills. Oh, there you go. We learned about a new comrade. Fucking bassist shit. Listen to this Infinity Knife song. The Iron Wall.
For 4 generations, your boots up on their neck. October 7th happened, the fuck did you expect? 9/11 happened, the fuck did you expect? Bombs over Baghdad, there's blood over the checks. Zionists are the new Nazis. Netanyahu is the new Hitler. Bodies keep piling the fuck up. America and Israel just get richer. New Jim Crow, but the same old shit. Everybody getting fucked by the same old dicks.
Whoa. I like it. Bars. I'm saving this. I am saving this. Thank you very much, friend. The Fetterman song was paid for by Chapo Trap House. That's so funny. Oh, that is so funny.
Something Zionists can't seem to comprehend is why millions of people resonate with
that is what I call like using your fuck you money to do the coolest shit. Like Chapo Trap House makes so much fucking dough that they can be like, okay, this prolific and really smart rapper, we will give him money in order to do a diss on a fucking guy we don't like. I want to be able to do that one time. It was only $500. What? Dude, I thought it was going to be fucking crazy expensive. $500? Damn, the deep program got to do some shit like that. Damn.
Palestinian liberation movement. Why do so many, month after month, march in the streets, demand their government stop supporting Israel, and take action to halt Israel's war in Gaza? What they don't understand is that what makes the solidarity movement powerful is a shared sense of humanity. In his discourse on colonialism, Amy Césaire talks about the effects of colonization on the colonizer.
They prove that colonization, I repeat, dehumanizes even the most civilized
I see Spooky got all the fucking OGs in this video. You got Bess, got me, got Hakeem, let's go.
That colonial activity, colonial enterprise, colonial conquest, which is based on contempt for the native and justified by that contempt, inevitably tends to change who undertakes it. That the colonizer, who in order to ease his conscience, gets into the habit of seeing the other man as an animal, accustoms himself to treating him like an animal, and tends objectively to transform himself into an animal.
Zionists, to put it simply, cannot see the humanity of Palestinians. They're animals, terrorists, inhuman, and this is what they have to tell them.
It is a contradiction of their own existence if they admit to the humanity of Palestinians, because to admit to the humanity of Palestinians, you render Israel's existence as a apartheid settler colonial state invalid, and therefore even their identity as Israelis is to an extent invalid.
Themselves to justify their colonial project.
Half of Gaza are children. You want them to die?
I want to bomb Gaza. I want to make it a mall.
In doing so, they remove themselves from the humanity that binds all of us together. For the rest of us not tied to the Zionist colonial project, we can see things clearly. that the Palestinians, being starved to death, massacred by Zionist soldiers, buried under the rubble and displaced again and again on this man-made hell on earth, are deserving of life just as much as anyone else. Mohsen Al-Khatib was a Palestinian digital artist from Gaza. After getting a degree in mathematics, she took up art as a hobby over the years and eventually made it into a career despite the Israeli siege. Although Gaza lacked funding or space, she worked as a freelancer and finally made it to the pinnacle of her career, investing her life savings into an office and fulfilling her dream of independence only weeks before the genocide started. Israeli bombs destroyed that office, and many of her art tools, devices, and sketches. Nevertheless, she continued to draw and document life during genocide. This was the final piece of art she posted, commemorating the murder of 19-year-old Shaban al-Dalu at Al-Aqsa Hospital, captioned, "We are burning." Hours later, Mohsen Al-Khatib was murdered in an airstrike on the Jabalia refugee camp on October 18th, 2024. All of this is still visible on her Instagram.
You can't write this.
Where you can see her dreams cut short by the Israeli genocide. Always pray for me, and do not forget me. I do not want to be another number on the news ticker. I'm a story. I'm also a digital artist. Just like her, I got my degree in a completely unrelated field, but I decided to try following my dreams making illustrations out here on the internet. And it's not fair. It's not fair that her life was cut short. It's not fair that Palestinians are massacred day in, day out, deprived of their safety, of their dreams, of their lives. Among the martyrs, we all see reflections of ourselves. The children who dream, the students who aspire, the adults who nurture, who can see with their eyes that they're just deserving of life as us, because they are us. Humanity is why the Palestinian liberation struggle resonates. It is the Zionists who, in the course of colonization, deprive themselves of this humanity. On the 7th day of the genocide, Electronic Intifada released a roundtable discussion with the renowned poet Rafat El-Arir, who would be murdered less than 2 months later. On the episode, one of the hosts tells El-Arir,
I don't know how to face you and to face people in Gaza. And I don't know how to say to you that I'm sorry we failed.
Thank you, Ali. I think we didn't fail. We did not. And that's when it comes to end. No, we didn't. We didn't submit to their barbarity. We didn't submit to their brutality. And even when this attack came when Gaza was in its weakest time possible. Look at what they did to the most invincible army in the area, the 4th strongest army in the world. The humiliation. But it's not only about that. This is not where we get our pride. We get our pride from staying principled at a time when everybody is not. I saw a friend trashing somebody, saying, like, he was posting some anti-Semitic stuff on Twitter, replying, with anti-Semitic things, and he was like, "Don't do this. We're not them." And I was very proud. It is at this time that people their mettle can be tested, who they are, their character. Those people failed miserably. We didn't.
What a fucking unit of a man. Rest in peace. Fucking unit, dude.
I began this video with a joke. Who in their right mind would take on Zionism?
You're not defeated as long as you continue to resist. Mahdi.
When they have the backing of the political establishment, a powerful lobby, active disinformation efforts, and slop streamers. But the fact is, ordinary people get the bravery to take them on every day. Zionists rely on spreading misinformation. They have Hezbollah fellowships and manuals to build an army of propagandists ready to defend Israel from the babies they massacre. For a long time, the sophisticated organization...
Literally, Hezbollah has the state of Israel, and to a lesser extent, but still a very great extent, the state of the United States of America as their subscriber, ironically. If we're doing Twitter parallels. If we're doing Twitch parallels.
The of the Zionist lobby helped to bolster Israel, providing them cover while they dispossess ethnically cleansed and subjugated Palestinians. But now, as they commit genocide so openly and brazenly, massacring dozens of Palestinians day after day, the walls of propaganda have started to crumble. In a way, it's a good sign that pro-Palestine activists are getting repressed. It shows that it's working. Support for Israel has tumbled around the world, even among the population of its primary backer, the United States. Now, rather than eagerly throating Zionist slop...
Oh my god. You know that he didn't want to paint the fucking arm here. Fucking legend.
Politicians have to carefully chew it before trying to present it to a more Israel-skeptic public. But let's be real. These are rookie numbers. The walls of Zionist propaganda are falling, but they need to be torn down faster. And it's not enough to tear down the walls of Zionist propaganda, but the walls of Zionist occupation. Seeing the humanity of Palestinians is not enough. We have to fight for that humanity. Unfortunately, the fight for an end to the genocide and free Palestine will be a protracted one. But for the sake of Palestinians, we must continue to fight. Be unapologetic when responding to Zionist smears and defending the Palestinian resistance. Whoever is in solidarity with their corpses but not our rockets is a hypocrite and not one of us. Continue to participate in protests, join organizations, and engage in the diversity of tactics that have characterized the Palestine solidarity movement. Palestine is exposed that the ideals of democracy, equality, and human rights that supposedly characterize Western governments and international institutions are a sham. We can only hope that in the ruins of our institutions, we can build something better. Thank you so much for watching. Linked in the description is a transcript of the video with my sources. I also have various donation pages to Palestine linked, especially funds directly to families in Gaza. I'd also like to give a special thanks to folks who loaned out their voices for this video, Ugopnik, Bestie Marks, and Hakeem. Please check out their channels as well as Hugo and Hakeem's other channel, First Thought. It goes without saying that any failings to this video do not fall on them. I'd also like to re-emphasize the importance of political action. As much as donating to families in Gaza helps, we also need to work now to end the genocide and hold our governments and institutions responsible for aiding and abetting this horrific crime against humanity. In terms of where I've been, sorry for being gone for 5 years. I've been getting my degree, but now I'm graduated, and I would hopefully like to get back to making YouTube videos full-time. If you want to support me, I just started Patreon. Thank you for sticking around all these years, and as always, no war but the class war.
Yes, yes, yes. If you have not gone to the video and liked and subscribed, you're a fucking cunt. Unironically, please. This person put in so much effort, work, brilliant writing, incredible humor, animation, design, editing, that they deserve at least a fucking small click from you guys, okay? A fucking small click. So please go ahead and do that. All this is making me even more motivated and ready to debate a long-time Zionist that used to be my friend. Wish me luck. Yeah, you're gonna kick ass. I'm already subscribed. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That video of the opening of the TV in the USSR always brings me to tears. Yeah. Bro, I legit get so emotional when I hear the Soviet anthem. You guys are such sweet little babies. I love you. So sweet. So sweet and nice. In continuing today's, let's call it, theme of stick figures explaining stuff to us, I saw another video with stick figures, casually explained billionaires.
This video is...
I wanted us to check it out because we're either going to cringe or we're going to find it interesting. So let's talk billionaires. Without billionaires, you probably wouldn't even have massive colonial wars such as the one in Israel, in Palestine. Apologies about fucking Israel. That shit don't exist. So yeah.
Brought to you by Incogni. Now, the difference between an average person and a billionaire...
Casually explained. I don't know. Is casually explained based or not very based? Subbed and liked. More importantly, it's reinforcing my resolve to do what in my little corner of the world I can. That's good propaganda. There you go. Spooky Scary Socialist made a really good motivational video, and that's where it turns from simple content for the sake of content into something that contributes to the greater cause. So if it makes you do something IRL, or makes you into a fellow propagandist, then it's done its job. That is what I talk about when I talk about the funnel, okay? More often than not, pretty liberal, but funny. Yeah, I mean, even libs now, American libs that are, Democratic establishment guys are starting to, quote unquote, criticize billionaires from the perspective of herder oligarchs. There's good billionaires, there's bad billionaires. The one who don't fuck with the Democrats are the bad billionaires, and that's why we're going to call them oligarchs and shit. Very, very classic stuff. So yeah, let's start this. $1, $1 billion. Look at the outfit that this person bought, even with $1 billion. Patetico.
Is essentially zero. Unfortunately, about 9 of them. Nevertheless, if you're a regular person, you walk around the same streets as both the RIF, the RAF, and professionals all the same. You probably know people who still live at home, friends slumming it with roommates, couples sharing a 2-bedroom, and high earners with a single family home, a dog, 2 kids, and the white picket fence, giving you a decent perspective of life for the average person.
Isn't it crazy that, isn't it crassy? Isn't it crassy? I'm saying crazy like crassy now. Isn't it crassy that to have this nowadays, you basically have to be a millionaire in the States? Look, you basically, this is a millionaire. How that is not insane to everybody, I don't know. You need to like have so much fucking cash in order to just have like a normal thing that everybody should be able to have. A roof over your heads that isn't stinky and fucked up, and enough cash to raise your kids together with your partner. Guys, this is a message to all of you, and Hugo, thank you so much for being so welcoming, and all of us, and all of you are such a wonderful community, and I wish I was here earlier. Thank you so much, my friend. You guys have not only made me feel welcome and made me seen through capitalist propaganda and through capitalist propaganda and reinforce my anti-imperialist and pro-Palestinian liberation views that I grew up in Tunisia. Thanks again and much love. No, much love to you, my friend. Thank you for sharing your time with us. It is an immense pleasure for me to be able to spend it with you. Genuinely. Rich people only know normal people as their workers. Yeah. Top 20% of households have a 1 million net worth in the U.S. Yeah, a million isn't what a million used to mean before. But net worth, does that include stuff they own? Because from my days of learning business or whatever, net worth includes your assets. So houses are very expensive in the States. Those 20% of Americans that have their own house are de facto millionaires because their house is expensive. But when it comes to, they can very likely they are house rich, as they say, but cash poor. They don't have, $700,000-$800,000 in their bank accounts. So it's pretty much people that either paid off their mortgages or it's people that inherited houses. Which, God bless, respect to both groups. Fucking get the bag. It just it's very misleading when they try to pitch that America is an incredibly wealthy country because there's so many millionaires. But they're millionaires because the assets that they possess are extremely expensive. That doesn't mean that their buying power is that of a millionaire. It's a very different person when somebody has 20,000 euros saved and a house versus a guy that has $1 million saved and a house. Very different universe. See a GNT. I have one friend who owns this condo and he only has his job because he's a literal Nepo baby. Yeah, like I have the immense privilege of doing this full time and getting beautiful birthday gifts. We're almost to our goal today, which allow me to, for example, pay off a mortgage. But even, and I own my own place, but it's basically owned by the bank, right? So even in this part of the world, I'm trying to say a younger person like myself cannot ever imagine buying something like this. Let me think. One of my closest friends literally inherited a whole company, logistics company from his dad. He managed to buy an apartment. Who else? Yeah. And me. And I run a podcast, YouTube channel, 2 YouTube channels, and Twitch. That's it. I'm thinking of the 25 closest friends that are going to come to my birthday celebration on Friday. It's just the two of us. That's insane. Capitalism has definitely reached Eastern Europe. Holy fuck. Even though most people in my surrounding are going to, the chance of them being a homeowner are still, even in these impoverished countries, are still higher than some of you that live in the West. Because a lot of people's grandparents and sometimes even parents have homes, not because they were rich, but because the communists literally handed them apartments. So they will get those apartments passed down to them, right? Because there were no homeless people in socialism, quote unquote, as the saying goes. Of course there were, but in this context you get it. So the mother of all irony, the country to dominate all other countries, the ultimate capitalist utopia, the United States of America. And there's a very high chance that there's a lower chance for you to become a homeowner over there than arguably there is for somebody living in a second world, third world, call it whatever you want, country like myself. Isn't that insane? Isn't that insane? I'm going to look at a house tomorrow, but I can only do that because I sold my soul to the devil. Poverty draft victim. Oh, no, God bless, man. Fucking... I hope you find a nice home for you, your woman, and your woman's boyfriend. I have one friend who owns his condo, and he only has his job because he's a little Nepo baby. Yeah, sorry, I read that earlier. Can't believe Chad isn't invited in. You're always very invited in. You have a couch, okay? The casting couch is for you, Chad. Anytime. Any motherfucking time. Imagine the golden times for us being our parents. Imagine the golden times for us being our parents being able to struggle to pay off a 40-year mortgage to own a house. At the very least, Eastern Europe has a high home ownership rate, but neoliberalism will fix that soon enough. Absolutely. They're already, to an extent, through propaganda, fixing it, because it's becoming more and more taboo for you to, quote-unquote, live in one of those commie blocks. And instead, you should live in one of those paper-thin wall new construction that is absurd looking and that ages so fucking quickly, even though it utilizes modern technology. The place I bought that you see around you is in a commie block from the 70s. But it's brick. It's not a block. There's a difference. Okay? Soviet bloc. So there's a difference between this. Okay, this is what we literally call a block. But we don't call it a block because it's literally square. We call it a block because it's built like Lego. Okay, you see this here? That's a block, and they brought it on a truck and they put it on top of a lower block. Okay. These are blocks, and then blocks, okay? They built them in the early stages of socialism, literally with squares on top of squares. I'm oversimplifying. Some architects in chat probably want to murder me right now, but that's it, right? Later on, the type of building I live in, I don't know, Soviet buildings, 1970s. Some call them Khrushchevkas or whatever. No, this, for example, is still a block. I can just recognize it by looking at it. No, these are all blocks. No. These are still all blocks. Blocks. These are all still blocks. But basically, at some point as these places industrialized, right? And living standards started increasing, people, they started building buildings with literal brick. Right, brick and mortar, and cement, of course, but not as much cement. Like the blocks are cement. I live in a brick building, which is better. because not because commies were stupid and didn't know how to make building, but because unironically blocks were intended to be short term. But then look up Stalinka. But then the Cold War started and money needed to be put into what? Into fucking guns in order for the socialist experiment to defend its revolution. And stuff like nicer buildings and higher life standards and pretty stuff fell out the window, as they say. You live in a brick? I knew it. I'm bricked up when you talk to me about bricks. Too Western to see the difference. They all look the same to me. That's understandable. That's okay. As an avid Minecrafter, I can verify this method. I just use prefabs. The kids all love Minecraft, so it'll vibe with people positively. Absolutely. I dream of concrete rectangles in my neoliberal hellhole of Australia. The soul of Tito will liberate us, God. Yeah. God willing. I hate arguments dragging commie blocks, bro. At least people have homes. Yeah, dude. Everybody's grandpa or grandma has a home, and my grandpa, who was a red cop, he was literally a red cop. God rest his soul. He was militia back in Yugoslavia. He got to live the unironic American dream in the fucking 60s. What am I talking about? The house in the 7,000 people town that he grew up in is literally picket fence, massive green area, a little part where he, raises tomatoes and his cucumbers and so on. 2-story. Each floor is there like 120 square meters. Okay. How did he build it? Well, the government gave him a small loan from the People's Bank, unironically called that. And you know what his percentage, what do you call the percentage thing? What his rate was from the bank. And what it was? 0%, yeah. He just needed to pay it back. I think he paid it back in like 5 years, 5 or 4 years, with his regular copper salary. Just cop guy. Interest rate, thank you, yeah. 0. Literally 0.
Commandez.
Strzelec. Przy elewacji budynku.
Subscribe so that I can move out of a commie block into a brick block and afterwards into a new block, which sucks. For $6 a month, free through Prime, while avoiding ads. Let's hit today's goal. Come on, it's my birthday. Let's hit the fucking goal right now.
Pracują jeszcze blacharze, a dach kryją dekarze. Czy zwróciliście uwagę, że wśród tych licznych zawodów budowlanych zabrakło, zgadnijcie kogo? Murarza.
There you go, blocks and blocks and blocks, and then you cement those little fuckers. See, this is brick house. This is a bricky housey. Where do they show the actual? There you go. You see, there's the blocks. They're mass producing them in factories. You see the blocks? Oh, that's going to be your window.
Tutaj wstawia się okna i drzwi.
Oh, I didn't even know. They put the windows in already in the factory? That's crazy, because aren't they going to break during transportation? I don't get it.
Po umocowaniu w otworze okiennym robot... Ta linia produkuje... Płyty nie są... Żuraw zabija...
There you go. There you go. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is a block.
I precyzyjnie
You see how it's not bricks and shit?
postawi ją na wyznaczonym miejscu.
Oh, they're building a house for the factory workers. Okay. In the factory.
Jak widać, będzie to jedna ze ścian piwniczych. Montażyści ustawiają ściany.
Why is the fucking music so horror-coded?
A spawacz łączy je stalowymi klamrami.
Here you go, blocks. That's what I meant.
Układanie płyt stropowych. A tutaj montuje się już ściany mieszkań parterowych. Właśnie Żuraw ustawia znaną nam kabinę sanitarną. Żuraw okręca...
There you go. Very interesting. You know something more about commie blocks.
Wonderful. A new
Turns
child
out they're
soldier,
made from
a
little
neat
blocks.
subscriber.
Hilarious. That's why, for example, when you're buying property now, you know, and it's an older building, you always ask, is it brick or is it a block, right? They all look like blocks, like the whole building looks like a block, but that's not the reason they're called blocks. It's based on whether brick and mortar was used or this was used. Thank you very much, Jet City Magic, for the 2 months, my friend. Thank you very much. I grew up in one of those, yeah. Didn't we all? Actually, I grew up for my first 6 years of my life in a house, in a little fucking house. The grandpa house I told you about that he got a government loan to build. Crazy. And today these apartments get rented for 1,000 euros a month. Yeah, very often, especially in the center. Watching the video makes me want to learn Serbo-Croatian. Do it, do it. That was Polish. That in particular was Polish. But yeah, Slavic languages are interesting. Just like every language is beautiful in its own way. Except maybe, I don't know, Deutsch. Don't let them trick you with brick wallpaper either. I imagine. Like on the outside, it doesn't look like it's brick. Like Eastern Europe suffers a lot also from just like, because it's a poor place, from like poor people engineering, we like to call it here. Then this is not like making fun of them. This is just, you know, you have a building and you want to do isolation of your apartment because it's more eco-friendly and it's going to be cheaper for you to heat it and to cool it, right? The piece of plastic thing, the foam that they put on the outside of the building, right? And in wealthier countries, you can gather up all your neighbors and say, okay, let's do the isolation of the whole building. And because it's a wealthier country, most people will have, you know, at least 1,000 euros saved up that they can give for that. And then when the whole building gets repackaged, it's one color, right? And it looks relatively elegant, relatively sleek, relatively nice. Here, though, because you can never get all the neighbors to agree to spend so much money because they quite literally do not have enough money, right? Everybody does it individually. So you will have a building where one part of it is white, then another part is brown, then another part is beige, then another part is fucking pink. There's always a motherfucker in every building that just paints that shit pink on the outside. And then when you look at the blocks, they're all like different colored. That's the main reason why. Because you can't organize all the neighbors to do it at the same time. Because it's going to be expensive. I like that. It's more interesting. It sounds like it is, my friend. It sounds like it is, but it looks like shit. No. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to Google. Renovacja bloka. No. The multicolored Kame block. Okay, so this is not it. This is pretty. This is like this is renovated by everybody. This is a little bit of an example of that, right? Right? You see? This is very obviously a very impoverished neighborhood. This is very impoverished, like holy shit. But because you can see the facade literally falling off, that's really fucked. So you see, some motherfucker was like, "Oh, I want to live in a Roman castle," but for some reason he also put like a fence on top of it, like as if somebody's gonna climb to the 5th floor from below, right? Then you have these guys that put this like aluminum stuff on top because and expanded their room a little bit. You see, this is definitely not safe. Motherfuckers just broke their walls and, expanded their apartment by like a square meter, right? This guy couldn't afford a balcony, but put some fucking, what do you call it? Some wood so that he can climb out of his window, probably. So this guy wanted to put wood. He's like, "Oh, I'm putting a decking. I'm gonna put a decking. I'm not like these peasants with all that shit," right? This is just abandoned straight up. You see what I mean by like it sounds good on paper, but it's kind of not. This person is like, "Oh, I saw this in Venice once." A nice little ark. I'm gonna make on the ark. But I appreciate people. Like it is very creative, and everybody's got their own personality attached to this. Whatever the fuck this is supposed to be. Oh my god! But it does make the buildings look completely like a very bad LSD trip. What do we have up here? We have another gate. Why would you gate up? Like, is he beefing with his neighbor who sometimes climbs over into his apartment? Why would you gate up something that is so fucking high up? Like, I don't get it. Kids, so the kids don't jump out. Hey, come on, a whole gate because like Jesus Christ. Oh, come on, you have some fucking dumb fucking kids. Oh Lord. Maybe to keep out birds. That is intelligent. That might be to keep out birds. Birds is smart. Birds is smart. The owner gets really drunk and goes for a smoke after. Natural selection, something. Yeah, dude. If your kid falls off of a fucking balcony, I'm just calling it what it is, dude. You were saved. A lot of medical bills in the future. From them, I don't know, crashing into 12 children driving drunk. My kids can fall off, but I don't want no damn birds. Yeah, unironically. Source was a teenager who did stupid shit, but luckily survived. I would question having a balcony at all if you don't want birds. But I have an open balcony. And a closed balcony. I don't like birds don't shit on my fucking thing. Oh, but they did once. Son of a bitch. They did once. We left for the seaside for for 2 weeks. And there was a bag filled with jars of pickles in like a duffel bag. This is the most Slavic thing I've ever said in my life. Like a duffel, sports duffel bag filled with jars of pickles that mother of my fiance's sister's husband gave us, okay? Like 20 jars of homemade pickles, which is based. But I don't have a fridge that fucking big. So I kept them, in the duffel bag that he gave me out on the balcony. But the duffel bag was was unzipped. So a lot of birds were like, "Oh my God, that looks like a cave. That looks like a great place to live in. We're going to go live in there. That's where I'm making my fucking nest." Okay? And I come back and it's the duffel bag. It's open, filled with pickle jars, and completely covered in bird shit. Bird shit, bird piss, bird whatever the fuck, okay? The birds went there to shit like for 2 weeks straight. It was just like pickle jars covered in shit. I had to take them. I ain't throwing out no fucking food. I'm unk like that. I had to take them to the shower and then shower off my pickle jars that were covered in bird shit. Pickle jars covered in bird shit. Pickle wreck. Incredible Slavic experience. Thank you, Fat Pikachu, for the 1 year. That is fucking G. Thank you so much, Fat Pikachu. It's always a pleasure to have you, my friend. Bird is like, yeah, I found a spot. Pickles in the duffel bag that you got next door. And now I'm really craving a pickle. But yeah, there you go. Fucking post-Soviet balcony stories. I really need to eat a pickle now. So I'm going to leave you. And I will see you either on Sunday after my birthday, but I'm probably going to be so fucking destroyed. Or I'll see you on Monday. And then next week, motherfuckers, next week, I'm streaming the whole fucking week. Thank you for the birthday gifts, also known as subscribers. Thank you for sharing your time with me. Thank you for everything you've done for me in the past year. Now I'm going to send you to friend of the show and fellow chatter, Lesbian Hot Sauce. Please give her all your follows and all your love. Join the Discord. Follow me on the socials. And yeah, man, what a great year it has been with you fucking crazy pieces of shit.
Wonderful.
Never fucking change.
Never
change. Yo, Joel, thank you for another 5. We are 13 away. We are 13 away from the daily goal. You're gonna leave me hanging like this? So ungrateful. This Ugopnik, man. So incredibly ungrateful. So incredibly ungrateful. Always asking for more. Come on, you got 4 seconds left to make that red bar nice, full, and engorged. Is anybody gonna do it? God bless you, chat. Thank you for everything. Go and have some fun. I'm gonna go eat pickles and probably hang out in Lesbian Hot Sauce's chat. What the fuck, Joel? Motherfucker. No, but not you. You've been carrying. Joel, you've been carrying all day. You've been carrying all day. Don't let these motherfuckers do it. You've been carrying all fucking day, Joel. No more from you, Joel. Do not no more. I said no more. Joel, stop. Joel, too much. Bad Joel. I'm kidding. Very good, Joel. Jesus Christ.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now go raid. Go raid. Oh, is it happening now? Is it fucking raid? Oh, wait, am I raiding? It's done, right? The raid happened.